Hello, the entire internet, especially you, Stephen. Welcome to another community race here on FF6 Worlds Collide. I am Mr. Entity. I am joined today in the booth by Fraggle. How's it going, sir?
It's going good. Tonight we get to see some suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly. So, around this time last year, we had a little tournament called the KGP1, and for the first 8 weeks, one of community member a week was randomly selected to pick a flag set. When it came round to week 6, a person who we will not name decided to make a nice 7 flush theme flag set. In practice seeds, it kind of went all right. It was a respectable flag set. When the actual seed dropped, oh, when people say Ravlin rolls bad seeds, not even Ravlin could have cooked up that monstrosity.
It did not go well. Am I correct in thinking that was the week where Progress was locked behind Fnatic's tower?
I want to say perhaps, but that could have also been our wonderful Tracker Cats week where it was no magic and Progress was
Yes.
behind Fnatic's tower. It was either week 5 or week 6.
I frankly can't personally recall, but to give you a brief overview of the flags, there's a lot of sevens and a lot of slots. And that's mostly all we need to say. Normalize and Distort is on, which is always so much fun. Random tiered shops, which is not usually great for equipment. We have 777 for Magic Experience in Gold, which is a little bit less magic, but more experience in gold than usual. And max enemy level based on party highest level is 77, which at that point, hello Ultima.
And also, the split experience is on.
Ah, fun. I missed
So,
that bit.
yep, if anyone didn't read that properly and they think, ooh, 7 times experience, let's get one really powerful member and charge through, it's not going to end well.
Probably not. And as you can tell from a minute ago, I didn't mention that. I probably would have had a bad time. Also, the bosses are random, and 20% of the encounters are random and bosses. So, fun times everywhere. It's a luck fest, and there's so many slots, but they do start with Cyan, and he starts with Sword Tech, so you have a pretty solid out there.
And also, just want to say thank you very much, Ravelin Bay, for the 7 months at Tier 1. That's 7 months for the 777 seed, which was week 6, surprisingly.
It's almost like we planned this 7 months ago.
Yep. But
The race is now starting to commence. Racers are under starting orders. We are just waiting for the streams to catch up. And there goes Yakko and Brianna. So it's a Gao start.
is it the Dream Gal?
Well, we know what Gao has because it's specified. Well, it is one slots, but then the other one is. Oh no, wait, they're randomized, aren't they? Yeah, sorry, no. Again, I missed a flag.
Ooh,
I
throw
thought,
slots.
they put so many, specific things in there. I forgot that they then randomized them. So, Cyan does not, in fact, have sword tech. And I missed what he had. But
Slot.
slots and throw, this is going to get you through most of the game.
Yep, I can see one of the community's favourite airship pilots is not going to be piloting the airship. He's going to be throwing things.
Throw is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. A snow muffler there in the beginner's house for the Red Baron. I also saw a ribbon, which is nice. A red cap. A ribbon is nice when you start with Y remove on, which is a thing we have today, and you can immediately go get the cursed shield.
Yeah, I think I saw a stunner as well in the Moogle treasure hut. So a good equip for Cyan if he can have it in this early stage. If
And
not,
Nersh,
you can throw it.
Nersh gives the Baron rather, Alexander the Esper, Atlas armlets, experience eggs, Dragoon boots, all for sale in that shop. Pretty decent shop.
They're gonna need all of that good stuff.
And the cursed shield is at 27, so despite that ribbon, unlikely we're gonna see that happening.
I don't know. I think Brianna might actually attempt it. I remember she did something like that in a previous race.
We do have some members of the community who do like just going for the cursed shield almost no matter what. I don't know why the Red Baron just walked in there and only checked 2 chests and then walked out, but apparently he realized what he did and went back in. So, thus far, the Baron's the only. Oh, okay, no, we have seen use of Y remove for Brianna getting past some of these people. Thank you, Naku, for A, subscribing, and B, apparently giving me my 1 back. Thanks. Oh, I don't have my 1 anymore. Where'd my 1 go?
Choo choo, all aboard the scam train.
There's my 1. Yeah. All right. So I was looking away. I presume everyone's taking Alexander because the other choice is not fantastic. Or a lance for sale in that shop the Baron's in.
Yeah, it seems Yakko was the first to actually leave Narshe completely.
Yeah, moving on to South Figaro. A standard opening move due to treasure density.
But they can access the Imperial Cave with Y remove, can't they? You know, the Esper Sealed Gate Cave Imperial Camp.
I do not actually recall. That's one of the ones I would think if you could, I would have noted that and gone there every time Y remove was on. So I have to presume it's not possible.
Yeah, because well, I don't know. Chat. Anyone here familiar with YMPC remove and what it can, actually remove apart from people and the rusty door?
Brianna's screen is very purple. Got nice purple grass sitting around outside. There's another ribbon in there, a True Knight, which is not great. Drainer, situational. like super situational.
Coronet to sell.
Dried meat for sale. Always nice to find that early.
Especially with a Gauss start.
Ooh, a heal rod with a throw ability already. I really hope someone kills Gao in the back of the head. Getting all the gift subs in the world today. It's Naku and Seto again. Thank yous.
And thanks for that, Naku. It looks like you can't bypass that event tile.
Ah, yes. The
Didn't
one
know
place in
that.
the game it says you have to go get another character. And yes, as Ravlin is saying in the chat, all the money we get from subscriptions and, bits and whatever else you want to do to give money to the channel, it just kind of goes in a pool, and we keep it there until usually a community member is doing a charity event at the next payout we get, and then we give it all to that charity. So all the money you're giving us, it's not kept by us or the staff or Atma. It's all for the charities, which is good.
Yep. Because some of us might not be good people, but we support a good thing.
Yeah. Video games.
Booja.
Saw a hero ring and a clock there. 20k and a chest for Yaku. A Lobo, and it's a floaty little Ultros.
Ooh, octopus.
Dried meat yields. Tritalk, another Esper for the pile of 2 Espers. How many things do you need before it's a pile? I'm not sure that counts as a pile.
Good question. I would say at least 2, maybe 3. Ooh.
So is a club sandwich a pile of bread?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. And yeah, Brianna changing the green filter to purple has just really confused me on her screen.
Yeah.
Moblets has no flaw. It's in a void.
No, I noticed that when she was outside, there was some very purpley grass. Oh, hey, we're apparently in another charity event. Questing for Glory, Hope, and Healing 2. Thank you, High Spirits, for pointing that out. And yeah, Seto, I have also never seen that Ultra Sprite there, but maybe someone, did some things with the sprites. Wow, that's...
Yeah.
That's confusing on Brianna's screen. Cyan's just walking through the sky. And 30-something K for the Red Baron yields Carbuncle into Zen.
Not bad, not bad.
I don't know that I've seen anyone actually open up their Esper screen yet, but that's just an indication that these people know not to open their menus until they have to.
Oh, I know what she's done. Brianna's probably used the chroma key filter and somehow keyed in all the hex values for the different shades of green used.
Yes, or just put some opacity on there or something, because that is her standard kind of layout background. That's new, though, as far as I know, because I've restreamed her multiple times before and haven't seen that. So, yeah, I guess we'll just accept that the entire world of this game, which I have looked it up before, it doesn't officially have a name, has been drawn up into the night sky somehow.
Well, Kefka did kind of make the floating continents happen.
Yeah, but I don't think it went quite that high. Anyway, we kind of some standard looting going on for everyone. Meteor, Bolt 3, and Life on that Carbuncle. That's a solid pickup. Madge +2, Bolt 2, Cure, and I think I saw Remedy on there for Alexander. So 2 very decent starting Espers.
Oh yeah,
and I think we're going to see our first actual boss check. Nope, Baron's taking a fight. Sensible thing to do.
Yeah, what was the lane rate on that Bolt 3?
I have no idea. I saw it for like 2 seconds.
We've got the Brianna going to Will to Ruin Zozo. Not bothering. No, Will to balance Zozo.
Will to balance. You can do them both with Y remove in
Yep,
either world.
And there goes the sleeping guy.
Probably drunk and past dead. Or possibly dead. Zozo's not a nice place.
Ooh, flame shield.
Always nice to find elemental shields. Ice 3 times 8 on that Tri-Talk that Sid has. And we're about to see what is in Doma. It is an Ultros with a Chupon to back him up, presumably pretty soon. And we've got another hype train success.
No, that's Ultros 2. It came up, not along.
Ah, valid point, yes. This is why I have been suggesting for some time that, much as Career Day does with the various Gilgameshes we just get like Ultros 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be less confusing, especially when you have no sound and aren't 100% paying attention to the visuals. But there are ways to tell, is the point, if you are paying attention.
And with normalizing to start on, this is the most terrifying of the Ultrases.
Yes, in this case, Baron got through it pretty quickly. But if he ever splooshes into the ground and comes back up, that's a whole new boss with a whole new health bar. So that can be quite a difficult thing to get through if you can't get a decent amount of damage out quickly.
Oh, dragon in the top right corner.
Skulldurgan, I guess they're scaled today, so that's a pretty easy Durgan to find right off the bat and get rid of.
Yeah, but remember that the experience they're gonna pick up. The next dragon's not gonna be so fun.
Yeah, but now they know Ice 3, and they have a bunch of levels, and levels matter a lot more for you than they do for the enemy, and a Cathood pickup, which is a nice drop.
Oh, definitely, especially with that 7 times money multiplier.
Yep, unfortunately did just try to optimize. Cathood is not the best helmet in terms of straight stats, so just trying to optimize that onto you will not always work. I cannot recall if the red cap is straight up defensively better. But they are wearing one of those. Point of interest, Brianna could have just Y removed those flowers, it's faster, but there's a go-go! As Sid tries for Doma, and Yakko finds some actually environment-appropriate enemies underwater and attempts to use a water edge on them, which I genuinely do not know if it'll work. I didn't think so.
They absorb fire as well.
Well, they're in the water. But famously, and I'm not sure you know this, but it's a thing I've learned, fire and water don't really mix well together.
Except if you're at the bottom of the Serpent Trench. Okay, and Baron is going to grab his Veltesper. And we got Mugu. Sid got a Lagomorph. You got another one.
Yeah, Sid not doing great with the slots. Slots are sort of a skill that you can learn. I will have to say, though, that aside from kind of guaranteeing the 7 flush, or at least mostly guaranteeing it, the 7 flush / Chocobop, most runners in the community, frankly, haven't done it, and are unlikely to. So, probably going to see a lot of Mugus today. We do not have Drew, our resident slots expert, playing tonight.
I did see Baron consistently getting H-Bomb before, and Sid managing to get a H-Bomb off as well.
H-Bomb you can also get with the standard rhythm that will nearly guarantee you a 7 flush if the slots don't become de-rigged. It's not super common, but it's mostly 7 flush and Chocobop, and occasionally you'll get an H-Bomb in there, just all doing that one simple strategy. I haven't seen anyone slot buffering yet, which means pausing and making sure that you get the right thing on the next reel, so I imagine most people are just doing it based on the basic rhythm, which is frankly what I do. Hi, Drew! You missed the slot seat! What are you doing? You're not doing it right. And we have Sid going somewhere in the world of ruin. Looks like also going for Zozo. And as Seto has pointed out in the chat, yes, if you know the basic rhythm of slots and can fairly consistently get that 7 flush, that is a reasonably high damaging, I'm going to say like level 1.5, level 2 spell. That is non-elemental. So
Yeah.
it can do a lot of work for you in the early game, or if you, say, run into Magimaster later on. It's not a bad command. I would just say most people don't put the time necessary in to learn it to its fullest ability.
Yeah, it's definitely a good ability. I mean, it's multi-target, so it can be good for grinding out a few early levels.
Yep.
And as you said, it's non-elemental, so it will do damage against everything in the game, really.
Yep, unless you get some flying stuff, in which case Chocobop will not hit it, which is the other default for the basic rhythm.
Yeah, and I'm just saddened I haven't seen any Crusaders yet, because that's one of the other fun things about slots.
I mean, it's always nice to see that that particular slot combination come up and go, it's Crusader. Because there is one that just calls not the entire roster of Espers. I think it's just the ones that do like attacks and stuff. Not super common to come up, but it can call Crusader, which does a hell of a lot of damage to everything on the screen. And is usually a party wipe.
Yep. I've actually got a clip of it on my channel where I was 6 seeds into my 24-hour charity marathon of this randomizer, and within the first 5 minutes, I pulled Crusader on my first slots roll.
Yay! I have a clip on my channel of Jack using a Magicite and me going, come on, Crusader! And then it's Crusader.
Oh, that one's brilliant.
Yeah, Sid has gotten through the Skulldurgan, and it looks like Yakko is going for the Doma Castle check in the World of Ruin. As Brianna goes for the Magitech facility.
Yep, Brianna just deleted the people who were standing in the way.
Yep, this is one place Y remove can get you in. And looks like the Baron has found a very GP heavy sequence of enemies, if I'm recalling them correctly. I think the Ursus is the one you find in Mount Zozo. And Sid's about to get him a go-go, whilst Yakko Wakko attempts to chase down some children, and is therefore not allowed near public schools anymore. Luckily, these children fight back. And it's a Tritic!
Save Valley Garmantis.
Yep. Slots, an excellent way to get through this. He does have some fire schemes. Bear's Realm has sword tech, so definitely a solid idea to be going here early to unlock all those delicious sword techs for the girl, the small child.
Yep, throw that magic power +2 Esper on it and run a sword tech 6 set. Where you just abuse Stunner.
One of, I think it might be or is Empower also magic based, or does it just give you everything you need? I don't know. It's not a sword tech I use very often, but Stunner is magic based on like almost every other sword tech, and if you can get a magic heavy character using it, it can be quite useful. Stops enemies, hits the whole screen, and does a fair amount of damage if you've got a decent magic skill. It would appear Tritok, despite being a frozen Esper that is very clearly shown to be on the ground and transported, is a flying type, because Chocobop just missed it. Because this game is incredibly consistent about what flies and what doesn't.
Oh, yep. There we go. We've got a statue in the factory. And Seraphim was the result of the Tritok fight.
I
And
believe
that
I
had
saw
Doom on it?
on there. Yep.
All the
And
Doom.
Sid going for Zone Eater. The eggplant with teeth has successfully sucked him into his mouth.
Question.
Where
If you get
Answer.
the timing right, can you delete the Chancellors in Zone Eater?
you cannot, no. This is the thing that has been tested. Like, someone's actually tried to do it repeatedly. I'm basing my immediate reaction on no. I know you could do that with that switch. Thank you, Yakko.
Oh,
If I ever go in
double
that
check
room,
one, yeah?
yeah. Unfortunately, I just never go in that room.
Yeah,
Well,
that's...
yeah, you cannot get rid of those chancellors on the bridge. No matter how many times you try to Y remove them, it happens too quickly for you to do it. Same with the monsters in the opera ceiling. Not Y removable.
Oh, Brianna got jacked.
Just like super muscly.
No, the party incapacitated and frozen.
Yeah, this would be a total reset for me. What's wrong with the chancellors, Seto? They're so good at their job. And Sid, a couple weird moves there, gets squished. You gotta be very careful with your movement in the ceiling crushing area.
Minimum number of runs you can do that room in is 2.
Yep. Get the first chest. Get the first chest, you wait, and then you, well, depending on how long the text is in that first chest, because interestingly, if it's a long item name like Dragoon Boots, I don't remember what's there in the original game, but the length of time that it takes for the ceiling to come down is pretty close to how long it takes it to write like 5 extra letters.
And because you're like the tiniest pixel of your back leg is not fully in the square, what won't get squished, you die.
Yep, because in this game, your movement is not complete into the next square until you are 100% in that square and your animation to move to the next square has started, or your animation from the previous square has completely stopped. Okay, Kefka! Well, so game's almost over for Baron. That was fast.
Yeah, Baron's been, Magicite straight.
And it's an Ultros for Yakko. This one came in from the side, therefore...
4.
Therefore, it's Spodamesh.
Skytros.
It's the same fight. It's the same fight. They totally recycled it.
Oh yeah, also, speaking of recycle, the half-step mechanism is present as well in Final Fantasy V, because in the speedrun notes for that game, it's like, take a half step and open menu, buffer, input. I didn't know you could half step.
I don't even know what you mean.
You know when you said about your movements not complete till you go from one square to the next?
Yes.
Well, that's present in Final Fantasy V as well, the movement on the world map.
Oh, so if you open your menu when you're halfway through an animation, something happens?
Yeah, it doesn't actually count the full step. That's how they can manipulate the encounters on the step route to get the Beastmaster encounters needed to throw stuff at things.
Doom is dead! And Yakko Wakko is getting blown away. That time I deliberately didn't put a pause after the word blown. And Sid is going into the trench. Brianna receives Genji armor, whilst Yakko gets a Phoenix Esper.
Yep. And Cyan swordsmanship retains its peak level of skill, so he passed all his skills down to the Murder Child.
Yes, his peak level of skill, not being able to use sword tech. And the second Esper, Siren, with Remedy on it. Phoenix Cure 2, Cure 3, Magic Power +2, and Stop. Stop very situational, but other than that, solid Esper all around. Yes. Cure 3 is pretty much literally overkill in this game, so anytime you get that, you know you're safe.
Yeah, but it's at lane rate ×1. But then again, when magic points multipliers times 7, it's
And
not
you
an
have to
issue.
kill 7 dragons.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tunnel Armor and Magitech 2 there for Brianna. Obviously, their building isn't done yet, so they've, brought in the Tunnel Armor to dig out some foundations or
Oh,
something.
Tunnel Armor's digging the offshoot tracks on the train sequence in Magitech
Yeah.
Factory 3 check.
Ooh, it's that weird chest that almost no one ever gets because it's out of the way. Yakko Wacko
And it was an
gets an
echo
echo screen. Yeah, that's why you don't go for that one. I occasionally go for it just to remind myself it's there, but yeah, it's like that chest, or the barrel rather, on the far left side of Seth Figaro. You'll occasionally see people get it, but for the most part, people's don't.
Yeah, as far as Zozo's concerned, for me, it's are you in Worlds of Balance? Yes. Go left, down, left, up. Are you in Worlds of Ruin? Go left, up, down, right. I ignore anything past the first screen or the bottom screen of it.
Yes, I did also notice that Yakko Wacko actually bought the Rust Red there, so I'm not sure if he is aware. Ooh, Omina!
Chat,
I
did anyone
don't
else check
think-
that?
I don't think anybody else went there. That's another one of those chests that a lot of people skip.
Oh, I always get that because it's literally you hold up and you
Oh, yeah,
literally
it's-
straight out, get it straight back.
It's a couple seconds. It's not like the ones where, it's the 13-second chest in Imperial Camp or whatever.
Yeah, it's not.
Interestingly, you can also remove that and just get that chest. No dogs.
Oh, so we've got Brianna throwing down a save on a separate slot, and she's taken MTech 3.
Not a super common occurrence, but we can see there how Sid managed to survive on that island when Celeste was having trouble, because he's literally wearing a life jacket the whole game. That's how he caught all those fish. I don't know why he was trying to build a raft. He could have just swum. And Sid gets him a realm. And it looks like we're going to be having a Owzer's house check, which interestingly, I almost universally call Owzer's mansion, but then I just noticed that the actual name is Owzer's house.
I call it mansion as well because, ooh, tentacles. This is the second encounter on the cart, isn't it?
Therefore, not the actual boss thing, just a random boss.
Which means it's tentacles, and then the next one is tentacles.
Yay!
Because
Are they specified?
yeah, slots 2 and 3 on the Magitech cart are always the same encounter.
Interesting.
So we had the last race I commentated, we had Triple Goddess, or I believe it was, or Triple Doomgaze, or one of the lovely bosses was the actual boss, and the slot 2.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I did not know that. I thought they were just random, like most other encounters.
No, that one's always been fixed, but it was the Imperial Air Force, the 3 fights before Ultros 4 it could either be slot 1 or slot 2.
Yakko has taken out a Durgan, which puts all of our runners now, except for the Red Baron, at 1 Durgan killed.
Cat Hood.
Yep, and the Cat Hood can go on Realm natively, so that's good. Aegis Shield there for Sid.
Never something I'd turn away. It's gold handsy shield.
Yeah, Sabin will be the reward for this number 24 fight for the Baron, and it looks like Brianna's taking another pass at this Tunnel Armor. It
Yeah,
will just remain to be seen if she decides to go for the tunnel again. I doubt that will be the thing that happens, but
yeah, I think if she's got Warpstone, she'll be backing out after this one.
also, you can just walk back to that Ifrit place and use a crane to go up and out. You do not need warp stones to fast out of here.
But it's advisable.
Yes, it is. It is much faster. Since you do actually still have to pass through a reasonable amount of the facility to walk back out.
And yep,
Number
there's the one.
24 is dead. That will be a Sabin get. Sid plugging away here at Kafka. And it looks like Brianna's going for the Domo of Balance check. Which, as we saw earlier, did not present much problem. Raiden there had Cure on it, did not see what the bonus was, but there was a bonus. Raiden being the reward for MTech 2. Sabin has slot, because almost everybody is going to have slot. There are approximately five non-slot things.
Yeah. The whole idea was basically you get a few good abilities and then
Slots.
test your luck.
Yep. And now we're going to see the Baron going for Mount Zozo. Hopefully he picks up that Illumina. Because, Illumina good. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I don't know how I became aware of it, but maybe it's because we always say no to it.
Yeah, no, we literally had to have a flag put in because so many people were asking for a way to keep Illuminas out of seats because they are almost without question the single best item in the game.
Yeah, so the Illumina got the Elemental Shield, Super Ball, and Rod treatments of being optionable.
Yeah, but there's a difference between those options because, I'm fine with people finding rods in chests, but I generally don't want them buying them.
Yeah.
And not just because it's an OP strategy. That I just find is kind of a boring way to play and or watch a run. But it's still part of the standard race preset, so we do see it a reasonable amount, and it's kind of a strategy people have to know how to work with.
And sometimes Baron got his Illumina.
I find it's best when you're on stream to just make noises with your mouth closed and not actually speak, which I'm sure some people would appreciate if I did more.
If you want Entity to just do that, please spread the word. Get more people in the stream.
Text 5 now. Charges may apply for long distance.
Okay, so again, it's a lot of revisited territory at the moment.
Yeah,
We've
gonna
got
see a Doom Durgan, gonna see a number 24 fight. Brianna's going through the Trenchy Trench for Serpents. And it looks like Sid is shortly going to be fighting a number 24 as well.
ooh, they have rename cards in Jador.
Yes, we did see someone pick up 4 rename cards in the Returner's hideout. We have not seen any renames yet, though. Perhaps waiting for the endgame when they know they're a 4-person party? Perhaps forgot they had them? We don't know.
We'll find out.
I mean, probably. A big meteor could be smashing into us, and then we wouldn't find out anything. Dead Durgan! I mean, it was already probably dead. It literally had no insides.
Yeah.
But,
Even dead to Dagon.
Yes. Increasingly dead Durgan. And there's the cat hood for Baron. Actually gonna go through and check. And, yeah, Rome's the only one that can equip it, I guess. Or did he put that on 7? Turns out we're doing a thoroughly good job there, Fraggle. So, I
Why,
guess we
thank
can
you.
continue to be idiots. Which is helpful, because
Oh,
it would be
Orog
difficult for us to
Paladin.
stop. Yeah,
That's,
it's
that's
not a
not a
fight
good
you want to see.
encounter.
No, but that's why you buy Smoke Bomb!
Yeah, the Orog Power Demon encounter is not pleasant. That's the World of Ruin Orog, and he likes to turn you into a zombie.
Yep.
And when you have Sword Tech in your party and you have Cleave queued up, and your Sword Tech user gets turned into a zombie, fun things happen.
Yeah, like everyone dying and then us making fun of you.
I've not had the Sword Tech thing happen, but I'm fairly certain you commentated a race I done where I got zombies and offering kill both the dragon and my party at the same time.
Yep, that was a good one. I've seen many funny zombie things happen. It's a rough thing if your party is actually powerful, because you can just utterly ruin your entire fight. And if it happens in Final Kafka, which it definitely can in Tier 2, that's a
Oh, yeah.
long time to have lost.
Yeah, that's why the zombie condition in this game is the best.
I mean, if that's how you want to describe it. Ice Durgan in the Opera, dead number 24, in the Owser's house. And here comes another number 24. They're just lining up to be knocked down by, presumably, Garland.
Yes, Garland will knock you all down. Dialogue.
So we are currently sitting at 441 for Sid, 431 for Anna, 541 for the Baron, 441 for Yakko. Everyone's kind of in the same sort of zone. No real outlier in terms of progress so far, but yeah, people are getting through these checks pretty quickly today. It seems the Week 6 curse has not followed them through so far.
Well, we did give them YNPC remove for the purpose of keeping this to a reasonable length restream race.
Bismarck, right off the bat for Yakko, in the auctionee house.
Yakko getting that Zelfa look.
Well, Zelfa isn't here, it has to go to someone. Looks like Brianna is going for the Doma World of Ruin check, which will yield 2 Espers, and I don't remember what the third thing was, possibly 3 Espers.
I want to say, I think it is 3 Espers, and...
You're not allowed to say that.
Well, I've just said it.
I don't care how much you want to, you're not allowed.
Red Baron going to save a child from a collapsing house after he buys some warp stones.
Warp stones, always a good purchase.
And some armor.
Behemoth suits for sale for 44k. They are a very decent shield. That Illumina still not equipped. Possibly not equipable by this party. I don't know that we've seen anyone particularly try to equip it yet.
I'll check the flags. I'll see if there's any special equipment requirements.
Equipability is plus 42%. So everyone can equip their vanilla stuff, and there's a 42% chance for every item that they will be able to equip that item.
So ideally they're wanting a Terror or Celeste. Then.
Yep. Or Locke, I also believe, is natively capable of wielding all the bigger swords. Because he has a really weird equipment pool.
Yeah, I didn't know Locke could wield the Illumina natively.
I'm fairly certain on that one, but I have not played the vanilla of this game in years at this point.
Yeah, I
but
thought
he can equip like all the heavy armor. He can equip the Ragnarok, I'm pretty sure. He has his own special equipment pool of knives. So he makes up for his terrible stats and skill with, you know...
good equipment.
Good equipment. And... coming out of Tizen here, Baron has not checked either of the monster in the boxes. And Sid is about to get a cyan, which will open up a number of checks. Sorry, a Sabin. Sabin probably has the best 5 checks in the game, taken as a clump. So, like, Celeste also has 5 checks, Terra has 5 checks, I believe Cyan also has 5 checks. But the Sabin checks are almost universally fast.
Yeah, I think the longest check of Sabin's is
Ghost Train.
well, Ghost Train you can quit out of if you don't want to do it, but it would be the camp if it's a character or an Esper, because you've got the extra fights in terms of finding out what it is.
Yes.
Everything else is like sub 60 seconds.
But if you walk in there with some smoke bombs and the bosses aren't mixed into the fixed encounters, then you're still quite fast on that check. And a few extra fights can often be quite helpful. It's like Sid's immediately going for World of Ruin to Zen.
Oh.
I did not see what the reward was on Barons there.
Bolt 3 is times 15.
That's a good Bolt 3.
So that's basically
a good Bolt to 3.
That's basically 2 random encounters, and you've got Bolt 3.
Whee! The third of Bolt. And Brianna coming up to the end here for Cyan's Dream, which is not. I don't recall what the boss was specifically, but I don't recall any particular difficulties having seen other people do it. Auction house looks like Yakko's just buying it out, which is a strategy you can use. Imp! Which is obviously a reset. That is also the reason I don't like the buy everything in the auction house strategy. I will happily take the 12 seconds per check to just get the espers.
Yeah, and I will happily just not go to the auction house unless I'm really desperate.
I will go there if it's at the end. I would not be going there now. Some people like to go there early because it can give you an advantage, blah, blah, blah. But espers are a lot more common than characters as rewards for checks. So I tend to find by the end of a seed, I've got more espers than I need anyway. So I put the auction house off until later. It's also incredibly luck based, so
yeah,
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, auction house, collapsing house in Zen. I usually leave till like one of my last checks, because if it's the final thing I need, I get that and then I just fly south.
I go there immediately because it's fast. Well, depending on where I am in. Brianna successfully kills the thing. Yakko's still looking for stuff here. There is another glowing stone available. I think there's a maximum of 2, and he's already got one of them.
Yeah, it's a maximum of...
And there's the second one.
2.
Bahamut.
Not a bad one. It's actually probably the most viable to use as a summoning spell, which isn't defensive. And especially when you have random magic cost on, and it actually rolls in single figures.
Which is the thing that can happen. Brianna going for a couple of chests I know you like to get, but is pretty rare to see anyone else go for.
Yeah.
It's a fair walk for a couple chests.
And you have to as well get those chests before you go into the dream or after it, because if you go there whilst in the dream, you get stuck in a cutscene.
Oh, is there still a cutscene there?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a cutscene up there in the first place.
Yeah. It's...
Write that down for cutscene bingo.
The outside, you go down the doors and then left, I think, by the moat, and there's another one up on the balcony bit.
Interesting.
And the bedroom as well.
I knew the bedroom one. I've gone in there more than once, and now I only go in there after I do the dream. But yeah, looks like we're getting our first Imperial Camp look here. Sid going for the chests. Is he going for the monster box? He is. Baron there in the dream now. And Pugs! Pugs in a Katana Soul on screen. But Sid is prepared with ninja bombs to smoke himself out of the fight. He just went in with a whole bunch of cigarettes, and the Pugs were like, rude, rude. And then they left.
Oh, I would have took that fight, but then again, I guaranteed Minervas every time.
I also would have tried to do that fight, because Pugs in this rando are not that dangerous.
Just don't cast magic on them.
Oh, Sid has soft locked himself. If you remove Kefka on the way in there. Interestingly, it doesn't always soft lock you, and I know Franklin has experience with that and said it did, and I was like, but I've done it and it didn't, so it may depend on specifically when you do it in there. And he still has to kill a boss, did not save before the Imperial Camp.
Yeah, hate to see it.
So yeah, he kind of got unlucky there. It doesn't always soft lock you into that, but apparently today for him it did. So unfortunate, especially with the lack of a save there. So yeah, we'll have to ask him about that later. But yeah, you do not want to remove Kefka there, because it's like, best case scenario, you have to leave the camp and walk back in. So it doesn't save you any time, it's just a problem. And this is why, if you're playing a Y remove seed, which was, by the way, just introduced as an April Fool's update by Atma, it's not meant to be like this is solid and it works. It hasn't. There's even a warning on it in the flags that it can cause soft locks. It's not meant to be super tested and perfect. It's just a fun little thing that we do use sometimes. But if you don't know what you can and can't do with it, it can definitely cause issues. My favorite one is if you ever go to Chizen, World of Ruin.
Oh yeah.
The timer just stays for the rest of the game, and eventually you lose.
I like if the thief in Tizen sells me something terrible, I usually remove him in protest.
Well, he could have just told you what it was.
Yeah, but I usually just go in the World of Ruin. I don't bother checking first in the World of Balance if it's worth buying.
I check the World of Balance if I'm in the vicinity. Like if I'm doing the Magitech facility or something. But yeah, I would say most of the time I'm buying that in the world.
Ooh, leads are in the sky.
That's where you gotta lead from. That's so you can see all your troops. And ooh, more than one attack required. Looks like Yakko is finally going for Esper Mountain, where I believe everyone else has gone.
Yeah, well, it is normalizing distort.
Oh, which means leader can actually be problematic.
Well, he's already down Go-Go, and yeah, he took a fair few spells.
Yeah, Brianna, I think, going here for Figaro Castle with the Y remove. And it's a Strago.
Hooray!
Everyone's favorite Poopus, Strago. Strago Poopus. Which is a joke that certainly everyone on the internet will get, and not only a few people in the Discord server.
Oh, wow, Brianna's actually following it through. I thought she was just going to walk back away from it.
It looks like Setzer is in Fnatic's Tower. Baron must be going here just for the dragon, because you can't get him without Drago.
Yeah.
Nothing to Y remove here, as far as I know, unless maybe you can Y remove the chest and that somehow does something. But there is a Jurgen.
Yep, and he's got Bolt 3, so unless it's... Well, he's got Ice 3 as well, so he's covered.
Magic has been very generous so far today. The only things we haven't really seen are Life or Life 2.
Yeah, they've got good curative magic, they've got an instant death spell, they've got good tier 2 and 3 elemental magic,
We saw
magic power
Flare, yeah.
bonus. Yeah, this seed has been a hell of a lot more generous. Ah, it's Gold Dragon.
It's a Gold Dragon.
So if they didn't have that Ice 3 spell, they would have been sitting through Fire 2s or Space
Ooh,
Rocks.
Gal's got nothing. Yeah, looks like a million meteors will be requiring to be crashed into him. Savin takes 1700 damage and gets very killed. Sid gets his Phantom Esper, and it's the return of Tritok on a bed of
Hooray!
tentacles. You know, you never want your meal to come to you like that in a restaurant, just a boiling bed of danger noodles with just a frozen block of chicken on top. It's not a good sign of a restaurant. Sid going back to Nourish World of Balance, perhaps to pick up some experience eggs, which is definitely a thing I would have done at some point.
Oh yeah, experience egg is probably on par with the Illuminate and the Paladin Shield for most broken and best equip in game.
Experience eggs are very dependent on when you get them, but they are very good if you get them early.
Well, it's like you say, eggs win races.
Oh, he's already got one. I guess he picked one up earlier.
Ooh, a Bammit. And we're going to get... Yep, by
Kefka. So it seems like whoever made this seed just replaced all of the sprites on the left side of the screen when you're picking the sprites with Ultros. As Kefka is Ultros, all the guards are Ultros. Some, at least, of the dead check reward sprites are Ultros.
Ooh, Stray
Cat. If anyone has rage, that's a good.
Yeah. It's like one of the earliest rages you get vanilla, but because vanilla, unless you've played the game that many times and you know every rage, you're just gonna disregard it. But it's I found once I played this,
it's basically the best rage as a general case. But the base game, really, unless you have an FAQ in front of you or you're like super OCD about checking what all the rages do, you're not ever going to know what even half of them are. They're real annoying to get, takes a long time, and then you have to use them.
Yeah.
And it's just a giant hassle. Looks like Locke is going to be the reward here after some Brontor fights, which are generally not something you want to see when they're the same level as you, but as mentioned before, Sid does have Smoke Bomb. He can ninja his way out of there.
Are they the scary ones, or is it the Brachiosaur, which is the scary one? I always get
honestly
too
don't
confused.
Remember. I'm not good at remembering which specific enemy is in a specific place in the vanilla game, because as mentioned earlier this seed, I literally haven't played the vanilla game in 5 years minimum. There's been too many randomizers.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Brianna heading into the Ancient Castle. She's gonna go to the right and just get the normal chest, which elixir, not bad. Useful in a pinch. I usually sell mine early game.
Yeah, if you get a couple of those really early, that can buy you a solid piece of equipment. But once you get about halfway through, I start keeping them. Yeah. Or, if you only find a couple. Locke apparently has natural magic. I did not see what his ability was, but Yakko will shortly be getting him here.
And it's an offering in the Petrified Lady and Storm Dragon in the Blue Dragon spot.
Luckily, Peoples has the Bolt spells, which, to the confusion of probably everyone who played this as a child, is the weakness of the Storm Dragon. Also, it's the confusion of many people who pick it up now and are just like, but storms are made of lightning and water. Unless it's a snowstorm, in which case it's made of water and maybe lightning.
Yep, and we've got Sid going aboard the Phantom train.
And we are seeing some stunner strats here from Brianna. Unfortunately, that was a pathetic amount of damage.
That's Celeste on the train, who's got...
With slots!
Yep.
Right. So Sid now has two people who could use the Illumina, but doesn't have one.
And just to pick up on what Seto said in chat, yep, I've got a list of about 5 rages I know, but the rest of the time I have the handy 20 or 30 rages you should keep an eye out for documents saved on my iPad. It's just useful.
Many guides in the Discord for this game, also on the wiki, which is accessible through the FF6WC.com website, one of them being the Rage List guide, which ranks them kind of into S tier, down to F tier, and then down to F- tier. And if you look at that list, by the time you get to B tier, let's say, counting from the bottom, you've eliminated probably 200 out of the 256 rages. There's really only 15, 20 that you should know. It's a real iffy skill.
Yeah, I mean, there is a rage for quite a lot of situations. You know, early game, you get the Cactrot one.
It's Blowfish real good.
Great way to hit and kill bosses. Toe Cutter, cast Shrapnel. Rain Man.
I did not have in my brain. Rain Man Bolt 3.
Yep.
Retainer has Shock, one of the better known ones.
The White Durgan is
Pearl. Yep. Siegfried will cast Flare, but also make you weak to every status element, which is hilarious.
Strontium Behemoth is either Meteor or Fire 3. And Greater Behemoth is the opposite. Yep. Andrew Chow and chat pointing out, Io has Flare Star, a fantastic spell.
Yeah, there's basically, 10 S tiers in that list, 10 or 12. And then
once you get to C tier,
a few others beyond that you might learn over time, because most of them are not worth wasting brain space on. It looks like there's a Yeti running down the tracks, and for once it's a boss that actually looks like it's doing the thing required to move through this space.
Yeah, I always liked Dadaluma in this spot.
Just infinite high kicks.
The Liu Kang forward kick button move from the arcade game.
Oh, so many bicycle kicks. I imagine someone's done this already, but if there isn't a GIF of him riding a bicycle while doing that, someone has done themselves a disservice.
Oh yeah.
Especially like one of those I don't remember what they're called, recline bikes.
Yeah, I know the ones you're on about. Or like a kiddie big wheel tricycle.
Yeah. Someone get on that. Okay. Rain Man Seto is an enemy you would usually find walking from your downed airship to Vector, along with Fidos and Wyverns. And I know this specifically because it's one of the only areas in the game where I know the steals and know they're useful.
Dragoon boots,
Tiger masks, and Dragoon boots, yeah.
Yeah, other notable steals include the token Minervas off the Pugs and Goddess. You can get the red jacket off of Spicy Chicken.
Basically everything at the end of Kefka's Tower has a good steal.
Yeah.
Which in vanilla is not super useful because you're already ridiculously overpowered. But in this game, it's a good thing to know.
Yep, it's... Ooh.
Our first look at the Nourish World of Ruin Durgan, which is another gold Durgan. Definitely one of the least worrying Durgans in the game, although when you have Scale Element on, it can become worrisome.
Alright, we've got the
And
Biospell off
another
there.
gold Durgan! Double gold Durgans!
And
Hey.
Cyan's gone sleepy sleeps.
Well, he deserves a rest. He's been doing so much work the whole game. You know, and if you're playing the slots real hard, you know, they will just start bringing you 1,000,000 alcohol. And, you know, at some point you're going to need a nap. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of tax stars. That's 70k worth of tax stars for Sid.
To be honest, I think that's a really good investment because now he could just send Gal down a path on his own in Kefka's Tower and hold A.
Yeah, that will be it will be a good thing to do, to have. But also, you know, that could have been another experience egg.
Ooh, Ragnarok
I
on
guess he's got
Yakko
two,
Wacko.
actually, so never mind.
So Yakko has got a Ragnarok and he's got the Illumina. So
And he has
lots
Locke.
of offense.
So Locke can wield both of those. If he finds a Genji glove, then that's a very end game Locke.
Yeah, that's hold A strats enabled.
Interestingly, not even checking Valley Garmanda, just getting out of there. Still needs one character. We are currently sitting at 771 for Sid, 562 for Brianna, 692 for the Baron, and 682 for Yakko. There is a Durgan in there.
True, but I thought we would have had some more, like, exploity stuff and maybe the two in Kefka's Tower over this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of treasure in there.
True. I mean, it is, like you say, it's a very viable location for treasure, but it's Phoenix Cave, and it's not that good.
It's a bit long. If you're careful about what treasures you get and don't, it's a lot shorter. Like some of the treasures are not worth going out of your way for, like the one on the immediately left when you walk in.
Yeah, I don't know many people who actually go for the left one.
Yeah, it's not super common, but you know,
that one just
a bunch of the other ones are just right in your way. So...
Yeah, like those ones there along that path. Yeah, that's fine, but yeah.
I would say the thing that actually bothers me the most about the Phoenix Cave, aside from not remembering to put Moogle Charms on when I only have 1 health and I'm going to die. Ooh, lucky, you're dead. You're dead unless you have some fire. Oh, that's a dead for Yakko. Unfortunate. And I guess let's all congratulate the Inspiration 4 crew for, you know, surviving outer space. GG's. But let's not congratulate Yakko for forgetting a thing.
No, let's remind him in chat. I mean, when we chat to him later. And, ooh, Brianna actually doing leg day to the full.
Well, it does have Strago. I believe the only person that does. Yeah, it looks like it. So.
With this, we'll get her Setzer.
Yep. And, you know, I'm going to be very amused if Setzer doesn't have slots. Because everyone else does.
Ooh, Funbaba.
Yeah. Not the most dangerous of bosses, but can be troublesome in... You know, Normalize and Distort can make almost anything that isn't usually a problem into a problem.
Oh, I didn't turn random Funbaba free on. Boo.
Well, that's your own fault. Although, also, in this case, it really only matters in, like, multiple check scenarios, and this is not one of them, so...
True. Plus, when we put Unleashed Funbaba free on, 9 times out of 10, it's in Kefka's Tower in a statue spot. And the moment you realise that it's Kefka's Tower statue, Funbaba, the big race to kill your own party is on. Because when that thing uses its Barber Breath to eliminate you from the battle, you get eliminated back to the airship on the characters it removes. Okay. So, as it stands now, we're coming up just past the hour and 4 minute mark here. And we've got Yakko just seeing out the end of Phoenix Cave. Red Baron and Sid are going around the skies in the world of ruin. Sid going to the opera house. Red Baron, I don't know where he's landed there, is that? Has he done so? Yeah, I think he's done Zonita already.
Apologies, my Discord just decided to eat its own face there. But then I showed it the graveyard where I keep MSN Messenger and ICQ and Skype, and it was just like, yeah, okay, well, just leave me alone, man. I'll do it.
And there was me thinking someone had actually texted silence to 5 now. Or
yeah, no, they haven't done that yet. Also, there's a cost of like $3 for that.
Okay.
I would like to buy some instant ramen, but like the good stuff. Which I imagine for you, Fraggle, probably costs like 50 cents, because food prices in Great Britain are stupid.
Okay. Sorry that, my mouse decided to have a fit.
Everything's going perfectly!
Yay, technology!
No technical, also my voice, 100% functional, and my brain's ability to recall words and then send them through my vocal cords. Perfect. Everything is wonderful. Thunder Shield there for Yakko Wakko. As mentioned before, always nice to have those elemental shields. And if you're walking into Final Kafka with an Illumina and an elemental shield, pretty much fine.
Yeah, I mean, you could just walk in with an Illumina, and the evasion bonus you get off it is usually good enough to see you through. Or, like, with just an average weapon and an elemental shield, and again, the evasion bonus is good enough to see you through, but putting the two together, it's really hard to, like, be hit sometimes.
Yeah. Ice Durgan's dead.
Will always hit through. It's just the way of things.
And it's another Ultros guarding a chest full of... Well, looks like someone else forgot to put their Moogle Charm on. Luckily, it's a much less dangerous fight than Yakko ran into.
Oh yeah, that pack of encounters, you've got 3 different monsters in the same group, all with different possible attack rolls.
Yep, that's one place you always want to be remembering your Moogle Charms, because you can just totally screw yourself. Looks like we're going to have someone else pass through the Fanatic's Tower, presumably just for the Durgan, as Sid is in go mode for characters and Espers, but still requires 4 more Durgans. Brianna's still looking for 1 character, 1 Esper, 4 more Durgans. Baron, really overdone on the Espers at this point, but still needs another character, and 5 Durgans, shortly to be 4. Yakko sitting needing 1 character, has 1 Esper too many, and still needs 4 Durgans. So, as pretty much any Blip Bunny who looked at the flag set could have expected, this is mostly going to be a Durgan race towards the end here. Yakko doing Tunnel Armor, which I don't believe we've seen, unless someone did it really quickly, whilst my Discord was eating its own face.
Ooh,
Brianna finds a Shadow.
We haven't seen this one.
Brianna finds Shadow, and Yakko finds Goddess. Luckily, lots of level 3 spells to fling around. I definitely would have immediately swung with the Illumina and then moved on from there. Because the Illumina itself is not wholly elemental, though it can proc Pearl.
And 9 times out of 10, unless it's a killing blow, it will proc Pearl on everything what absorbs Pearl. Because luck.
I don't know exactly what the chances of proccing in this game are. I think they're usually like 1 and 8. But yeah, I will always open with the Illumina swing if something's weak, strong against Holy, because the Illumina does a crap load of damage, and if you can get one swing off fine, then that's gonna be like 2 level 3 spells by the end of the game.
Yeah, it's a case of, okay, first one's free, don't push it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with Goddess, where she's also probably gonna love token someone after that.
Okay.
What is it, 25%? Good to know. Ravlin, one of our admins, is saying 25% for the procs on weapons. I don't think it's universal, but there is a standard for most of them.
Yeah, usually in these games, it's usually integers of 4, so 1 in 4, 1 in 8, 1 in 16, 1 in 32. They tend to be the common proc chances.
The number you were looking for there was 2. Because 4 is a multiple of 2. And everything in a computer is 2s. Because computers is dumb, and they can't count to 3.
You're a 2.
I mean, yeah. But you're a 2 too.
How did you know what degree I've got?
Yeah, I left you an opening there. I know exactly enough about British University to know that that's a thing, and they call it a Desmond.
Yep. Fun fact, that's the actual classification of degree I have.
Oh, wonderful.
And on a completely unrelated note, follow tonight's races. The linky links have gone up in the chat. We've got Red Baron, we've got Brianna Fafana, Yako Wako, and Sid, all providing the entertainment and making me wish we had this seed last time we ran these flag sets.
Yeah, also, I don't think we mentioned them, but we do have 2 members of the Restream crew that should be shouted out. Seto Kiaba doing the actual restreaming, and Ceiling Cat doing the tracking, keeping all those numbers on the screen and all the information in the tracking sheet that we occasionally reference. So, good job, them.
Yeah, you shouldn't pay much attention to me or Entity.
I mean, they're being forced to pay attention to us. Well, not forced. It's their own fault. Why are you here?
I don't know. Why am I here? Oh, I was the only one who volunteered this week. That's why we're running this flag set.
I got suckered in. Like a sucker.
And yes, if you
Sid going for that chest we were talking about, how it's not worth getting.
If this turns out to be an Illumina, this is going to become the new meta.
It's going to be like an echo screen or something. Oh, break.
Situational.
Very, very situationally useful, but they also have access to Doom at this point, so...
Yeah, Breakblade's a great starting weapon. If you get a Breakblade in, like, one of your first chests and someone can equip it, play reckless, go for those random encounters, because you can actually insta-kill quite a lot of things in this game.
Yeah, if it's a basic enemy, not a boss, I would say 70-odd%, if not more, are insta-killable either through Break or Doom. Interestingly, Sid also lowering the spikes in the Phoenix Cave, which is not something you see very often. It's basically a waste of time if you have a tent or some other means of healing.
Yeah, generally most people, because we give people Moogle charms to start with, it's like, oh, no encounters, let's just run.
Yep. Gold Durgan, and a dead Umaro in the water.
Yeti Cannonball.
I don't believe we've seen this Falls check yet, but yeah, we're about to. Grand Train coming out there on Shadow. I guess he's got lore. And we've got a Blitzy Setzer.
Like I say, lore, it's situational. Grand Train is arguably the best in terms of overall damage.
Basically Ultima Light.
But I'm a big fan of Sourmouth because that thing, if something is weak to a status ailment, Sourmouth will make sure it gets that.
Almost simultaneous Durgan kill.
Oh,
Let's
not
see if
bad.
either of these people checked Valley Garmanda.
I think Brianna will.
Brianna doesn't need any other actual checks, but maybe...
She'll do it for the memes.
Maybe. Baron still needs a character. And looks like Yakko's going to check out the Ghost Train. I looked away for a second and did not see what was in the falls. It was apparently Palador.
Jumpy jump for when you don't have the jumpy jump commands.
Or when you're really desperate on Tier 3.
Or Magimaster if Ultimate is on, and ooh, Baron's the one who went for Valley Garmantis, and it's a Guardian.
Yep, and Sid has found an Ice Durgan, and Brianna's about to find, I believe, another Gold Durgan.
I thought this one was Ice Durgan.
It is the Ice Durgan, you are correct. So, Guardian with Normalize and Distort on can be a chunky boy.
Yeah. When Normalize and Distort is on a boss like Guardian, when he enters his Dadaluma script, things can get a little bit dicey. Because he will start throwing the knives like Dadaluma does if, for some reason, you let that fight get to that point.
It can happen surprisingly easily if you're not at very high level or Normalize and Distort is on.
And Dadaluma throwing knives, he gradually builds up the damage. But I mean, of course, throw is extremely broken in this game, so it deals a rather big amount of damage.
Yeah, anything throwing anything in this game is a problem, including you throwing things.
Yeah, he's not as bad as the outsiders throwing things because they just like...
They go before everything. You do most of the time.
But when Dadaluma gets to, I believe it's like up to Thief Knife throwing, it's a reset.
I have not seen him throw a knife in quite a while. That is a dead Guardian though, so we're about to see the reward for this check, and it is a magical sight, which is not what the Baron wants. It is Starlight. I don't think we've seen Fenrir or Golem yet, so despite how many Espers are kicking around, 11 I think on the Baron, once Cat updates that, we got a lot of the Espers. There's, what, 24 of them? 25 of them?
27, I believe, is the total count because you can get both Odin and Raiden.
In the randomizer, yes. Yeah, so there's a fair chunk, but, you know, you're looking for... I think they have Phantom, so if they're careful... Well, no, with Normalize and Distort, it's really, really hard to pull off a Phantom trick on Tier 3.
No,
unless you have Scan.
Yeah, no, it won't reveal the hit points.
Red Rum.
Yeah.
Finally seeing those cards being pulled out. Dead Umaro for Yakko. Baron now heading up, presumably to fight a white dragon. And Gav is being renamed Baron. Red Rum Baron. Sid apparently trying to enter Kefka's tower here, or not, just Mr. Me.
Your Shadow.
I'm one of the best characters in the game. Suck it, everyone else.
The character as well, who if you don't wait for in vanilla, he permanently dies.
Just like me in real life. Suck it, everyone else. Also, please wait for me.
Jex is Setzer.
Yep, and Brianna heading into Kefka's tower. Looks like Sid and Brianna are leading the pack here. Just needing the two Durgans. Sid doing some shopping, but both of them will be picking up those two Durgan fights in KT.
I like how Sid actually walked around that old guy first.
And then turned
walked back into him. And then realised, hang on, why NPC's on? Bye.
This man's old already, and then he just went up there for no reason to kill that man.
Why not? You have the power, you can either use it for good, or
for awesome.
And yep, that's awesome. And what wasn't awesome were those, relics on sale. I didn't see anything really good. And ew, coin toss.
Well, there are a lot of slots.
True, they do actually have the finances there to make coin toss a viable, non-elemental damaging strategy.
You forgot to do air quotes.
I thought everyone knew I was doing air quotes.
Yeah, but you didn't.
This isn't coin toss in Final Fantasy V where it
Where
actually
it wins
breaks
the game. Yeah. Samurai, I win this 4-job fiesta.
Yeah. Final Fantasy Capitalism Simulator, because throwing money at the problem always makes it go away.
Yeah, I think they realized after they made that game that coin toss was way too good. And then they just took the nerf ridiculously far in this game and made it sometimes it's okay, maybe,
but they really bumped up the power of throw instead. So throwing at things still makes problems going away. It just, instead of money, it's now sharp pointy bits.
Yep. Interestingly, throwing Final Fantasy V is also pretty much a money-based thing because you just want to be throwing all the schemes stars, which you have to buy.
Yeah, but you can buy them for half price in the world, in the first world. And ooh, it's Dad. Hi, Dad. You have normalizing to start on.
You might be a problem. So Dadaluma is interesting as he has 3 different counters, before he goes into his throwing things and being a douche phase. One of them is if you use the magic command twice, he will start that phase. If you attack him 4 times, he will start that phase. If a certain amount of time passes, he will start that phase. And I think if he reaches just a certain HP limit, he will.
Okay, and Jex is oh, here comes the throw. Ooh, 1500.
Yeah, so that was 2 magic commands, which is why he's already at throw. Dadaluma is complicated, but you almost would never know that because he's usually so easy. But yeah, you don't want to just throw magic at him constantly right off the bat because he will just start wrecking your day with knives.
Yeah, it's generally the timer or part of his script which most people are bothered about is this one, triggering the Iron Fist appearances before he decides to throw 3 or 4 potions and cast spells on himself.
Yeah, but I somehow always forget how to do Airblade when it comes up as a useful thing to be doing.
I want to say it's one of those.
It's 3/4 of Bum Rush, but I never remember where to start it. I think it's up to left, but yeah. Whatever. I'm not surprised that Brianna knows that, but when people start pulling out Mantra and Spiraler especially, I'm like, how do you know that? It's almost never useful.
Mantra is actually quite useful for Train.
Yeah.
In the final tier.
Because it's a multi-target remedy.
And
not remedy, but it does cure the relevant status effects.
It gives the health of the caster.
Yep.
And gets rid of blindness. Ooh, Blue Dragon. Spiraler. I got confused by tier 2, and my Terror in 1 seed had Blitz.
Hooray!
Decided to cast Spiraler.
Of course.
Terror did the whole, hold, my people need me, I must go.
Does Spiraler put you back on the airship, or just remove from the party for the fight?
Well, she got replaced because I was on tier 2. But I'd imagine it was airship, knowing the way like some of these eject from battle things work. But if the weird lizards what can use sneeze on you don't get airshipped.
No,
So,
you also Chupon. You just get knocked out of the fight. So it's
game's
question mark.
weird.
Yeah. So looks like Yakko is off to the Fanatic's Tower. Baron is fighting a goddess, and Brianna is fighting one of the most annoying dragons in the game, which can, if you are Shadow, just steal your dog. Like an absolute...
Yeah,
various swears I'm not allowed to say.
like a bit of a Leo.
A complete Leo. Just like two
If
Leos
you-
stacked on top of each other in a trench coat trying to get into a theater where they don't allow Leos.
If you join our Discord, you will soon learn what we were on about.
I don't know, a lot of people in Discord still don't understand.
Blue Dragon is generally the dragon I don't particularly want to see because I always have trouble with it for some reason.
I would say the Blue Durgan and the Storm Durgan and the Dirt Durgan in some combination tend to
Oh.
be the worst. And depending on your party makeup and when you fight it, the White Durgan. Because
Yeah,
random number of pearls between 1 and 3 every couple turns is a problem if you're not very strong.
yeah. Dirt Durgan's always a problem. I just don't even try and class it as a Durgan now. It's just there. It's like, oh, you're here again.
Get out of here, Floor Demon. Oh, Andrew Racho, that's a solid strategy. Unfortunately, most of the time my Tortoise Shields have been sold because they're worth money.
Oh yeah, Tortoise Shields are worth a lot of money, but if you do happen to have one or a titanium, it will save you against the often underrepresented water elements in the series.
Yes, water and wind. And there's another one that I'm probably forgetting because you would not know those are elements generally in Final Fantasy until you read a guide or someone points it out to you, because basically black magic doesn't do those things. And it's just like blue magic or weird skills that do it, and you're not going to know it's something's weakness unless you're scanning everything in the game.
Yeah, I think like when I first actually saw water in a game being prominent, it was Final Fantasy X, where everything was either fire, ice, lightning, or water, with the occasional non-elemental spell.
Yeah, this game does have water schemes, but I always, certainly, when I was just playing it casually when I was younger, I just thought that did ice damage.
Well, Aqua Breath, or whatever it's called in this game,
Yeah, I just thought that did ice damage.
water ice, I believe.
I have no idea.
I know in Final Fantasy V it's not actually elemental.
Yeah, it's just an attack. But yeah, it's like I can't name off the top of my head anything in this game that is weak against water, aside from maybe Flame Eater.
Cranes, and the cranes are because if you actually cast Bismarck on them, it does a decent bit of damage.
Okay. Well, like this Storm Durgan is wind elemental. So
Yeah.
you use Bolt on it for some reason, which is confusing. Yakko found a person. But yeah, I also can't think of anything that's weak to wind.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a reason that we don't know these are elements. Almost nothing is of that element type. And I don't just mean spells, but also enemies. And then also, basically nothing is weak to them, so why would you know? Drew is pointing out that Short Arm is weak to wind, I think. So I guess if you've got Arrow, pull it out on tier 1.
Or throw those air knives, or air lancets, whatever they're called in this version.
Tunnel Armor might be weak to wind then, because Air Lancets seem to do too much damage to that thing. Almost the triple bar of judgment.
Ah. Yeah, and Seto backing us up there with most mechanical enemies are weak to water. It's just a shame you don't really get much water to use.
Yep, especially not in the main parts of the game where you're fighting mechanical enemies.
Okay,
But also, weirdly in this game, also, like, man, quote-unquote, type enemies are generally weak to poison, but then the important ones aren't, like Kafka. So,
but-
you know, those type weaknesses I often take with a grain of salt, because
yeah,
you
but-
then have to remember other things about it.
yeah, but I mean, I can understand why Kefka's like not weak to poison, because
It's his main skill.
yeah, he makes the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. He's probably
Oof.
just giving himself
Red
Mithridates
Baron
syndrome.
getting a Prometheus.
Oh, I better pull out that water damage. Yeah, this is an enemy I would 100% be running away from almost all of the time.
I don't know.
Ooh, Locke doing kind of pathetic damage with that Illumina.
I don't know. Those he dropped 2 bolt spells on it though. Bolt
Oh, yeah.
threes. One
He
was
kicked the crap out of it.
7, 8, and 9, 6.
But that is one of the most dangerous enemies in the game.
He's just
as a
deleted
rule.
a few ghosts.
Well, I mean, there's already enough Ultroses is in the game. We don't need another, like, 10.
I'm sure out there is someone frantically shouting for more tentacles.
Yeah, but our audience is thankfully not mostly Japanese.
Okay, so we've got Brianna is doing the party maneuvering. And we've got Yako just starting the ascent through the tower while Sid is slowly catching up.
Yeah, we got 3 people in KT, and once the Baron leaves this train, he's good to go for KT as well. So
Yeah.
at this point, we do have some people running out in front, but we have seen so many times in this randomizer people just have a bad time with Kafka, and the person in 4th place wins. Or, you know, something happens with these statue bosses that is unpleasant, or their parties are made up not ideally for the challenges to come, and the people that you think are going to win don't. So,
Yeah.
poltergeist.
Ooh, spicy. If you've got them, put them in chat.
I've got one. Look, there it is.
Well, you can put the Chancellor as well, but I was referring to the spices.
Yeah, the Chancellor is so spicy. Have you ever tasted him?
No, I tend to run the opposite way.
Well, I mean, I try to not get in his way also, but he's just right there in front of you all of the time. Very hard to avoid. Except in this rando where he's kind of been taking it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually got knocked off the Zonita bridges
No,
either.
everyone had a fairly easy time today. Interesting. Usually, you know, at least one person's gonna get knocked off. At least one person's gonna sit there for 30 seconds or whatever.
And at least one person's going to get trolled by the timing window and get repeatedly pushed off.
Yep, we did see a Squish'em happen to Sid, but it's that, yeah. So Sid and Brianna kinda... Brianna a little bit ahead, but pretty much neck and neck here. And, you know, Sid's
Yeah.
sitting on 30 tack stars, 20 tack stars at this point.
Yeah, I'd say,
And a Mimic, so...
I mean, like,
Oh, a stopped Mimic, though. That's not ideal. And now a dead Mimic.
yeah, the Stop Blaster script. You
Yeah,
know,
that,
it's done.
That can give you a very different experience with this boss. Just between, did you get stopped immediately? Did you get stopped immediately again, immediately upon resurrecting your friend? Because the game knows when you're not wanting the thing to happen to the person you just resurrected. Everyone's in KT now!
Hooray!
So like a, what, 15-ish minute difference between first and last entry?
Yeah, which basically in KT, anything can happen. I mean,
That's one get to tier 3 in Final Kafka.
yeah, but even your party composition, I mean,
Oh, 100%.
we've seen some races where people have actually had to warp out and respec just because, like, the party going down the left side has been hard walled by, like, a Tritok because they don't actually have any fire magic or
Yep.
ability to pierce it.
Or the most notable, just complete ruiner of a KT run. Interesting play there by Sid with the reflect for stop. That's
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, Poltergeist itself, it doesn't have many weaknesses, but what it's weak to is stop and poison.
Yep. You would think it would be weak to ice, but you would be wrong.
Ice is just a reliable damage dealer against it. It's also weak to tack stars.
Everything's weak to tack stars, especially if you can mimic them forever for 5k.
Oh yeah.
Brianna fighting the Fraser twins?
Ow. Cranes are... They can be some of the easiest to face or some of the most terrifying because the abilities they can roll. Ooh.
Yeah, with Normalize and Distort especially, anything with multiple parts can be a huge problem. Also with scaling of abilities, anything with multiple parts, like I can't tell you how many times the stupid I never remember the name of it, the airship that you fight with the two parts in the spec. That thing can ruin your day.
Oh, that thing just ruins my day anyway. It's one of my most hated boss encounters. No matter where I am in a seed, it always causes some kind of problem.
Yeah, multiple part enemies are the thing I generally have the most issues with in this game. If it's a single target enemy, you're usually not in that much trouble. But the bosses with multiple parts...
The Stooges,
The
Rexall...
The Stooges and Inferno particularly just have a delta attack if you don't get rid of the parts.
Rexall's a pain in the Leo.
Rexall, if you don't have single target, specifically targetable abilities, is a huge issue. Like, not even necessarily difficulty-wise, but time-wise. It takes so long when your stupid Yeti kills one of the little dudes that he has, and then they go...
Yeah, over and over, you keep hitting the same little dudes.
Yep. So we do have Brianna past the cranes now, and 2 dead fathers. Which is more than the usual number of fathers that a person would have. Point of interest. You can have 2 mothers. Biologically. You know, if anyone's interested in my nonsense science tangents.
Oh, someone cast fire on a crane then. Or the crane might have cast fire on its friends. I just seen the heat source message, but it's dead.
Yeah, cranes... Really weirdly, it seems like almost no one actually remembers which one is weak to what. And I don't know why that is, because most people who play this that we feature on restreams say they often just know stuff. But you ask them about the cranes, and so often they'll go, I don't know which one is which.
And the same with tentacles. I only know bottom left, insta-kill, everything else poison.
The bottom right one is strong against fire. And that's the extent of my knowledge.
Oh, Ultros 3 on Brianna's side.
Which, again, in Normalize and Distort can be an issue. And we have another leader.
With Ultros 3,
Ooh,
not bad, not bad. There we go, Drulov with the helpful mnemonic device there for the cranes. Right is lightning.
What element is light? Like holy? Or
No, as in
light?
lightning.
I was making a joke.
I know.
Okay. Because the second part was bulb element. Which isn't a thing.
Okay, so Ultros 3. You've just killed Gogo, Mr. E.
Oh, hooray! How did I do that?
You cast Bolt 3 on him.
Well, I mean, he probably deserved it. He keeps copying me.
Ah. Yeah, okay. But the danger for Ultros 3 is if you cast certain amount of elemental magic on him, he goes red and starts doing weird things, I believe.
I thought he just did that at a certain HP point.
I don't know, he's normally dead before that happens when I
Yeah,
face him.
exactly. Yeah,
Well,
so...
he's dead there, and
dead
okay,
one there.
that's a lot of experience going on, Mr. Entity there.
I deserve it. Sid looks like he's coming up to Ultros now. The other two on the bottom still working their way towards the statues. But, it does seem like the Baron might be going a little bit faster through KT here. Has done a few more checks. Probably has a bit more experience. And, yeah. So, we'll just see what happens there. On the top side of the screen, top half of the screen, we have kind of the two front runners, and the bottom half we have two people, you know, coming up from behind, which is the problematic phrase. But yeah, they're all pretty close. Really, anyone could win. It's just a matter of who gets to Kefka first and whether or not they have a nice time.
Yeah, this is pretty much playing out to be who can navigate through tier 2 and 3 the most efficiently.
Yep, tier 2 can be an absolute douche knocker, and tier 3 with Normalize and Distort is a massive pain in places.
Yeah. Just ask Ravlin Bay about his experience with Normalized and Distorted tier 3.
Yeah, the real problem with tier 3 is Girl normally has, 10k health. And has a 1 in 3 chance every turn of casting Pearl Wind. With Normalize and Distort, she can have a maximum of 27k. So if you're not doing, 3,500 damage per turn minimum, the boss can just out-heal you. And if you're unlucky, that can do more than 10k a turn.
We remind you of this, Ravlin, because we care.
Well, yeah, I guess. Mugu Mugu!
Yay! Oh, why can't someone pull Crusader?
I don't know. It's probably just... I can't make that joke. Make your own joke.
Okay, so... we've got...
Oh, looks like Brianna's going up
party
to the end. The only thing I know about the voice of Bowser Saberwolf is that he at one point lost his voice. Because obviously he did, because that would be an awful thing to do. Also, point of interest, Luigi at one point had 2 different voice actors simultaneously in different regions for no reason.
Nintendo logic.
So, Sid looks like is also ready to go up into Final Kefka. So there's like a 2-minute difference maximum between these two people. Between Sid and Brianna. And Red Baron and Yakko Wakko are in kind of a similar situation, but at the Guardian/Statues area.
Okay, so it's a Realm Shadow Setter Gao approach on Brianna's side. And it looks like she's looking for her instant death spell.
Well, she's got Sword Tech.
There we go.
Which I would 100% be using over Doom.
Yeah, unlike Doom, which can, well, as you've seen there, miss, Sword Tech can't miss.
Sword Tech can, in fact, actually miss, as can Odin and Raiden. It's just extremely unlikely for it to happen.
I thought Cleave was a guaranteed hit on anything what was vulnerable to it.
It's a nearly guaranteed hit. For the most part, effectively in practice, yes. But with Normalize and Distort and things at the same level as you or higher, you can occasionally see a miss. Last time I was on a restream, I also missed twice in a row with Odin, which most people would also think is a guaranteed hit.
No, I don't trust the insta-kill summons if it's a boss or one of those weird things.
Oh, you have a ceiling cat making some noise.
Hello, Kitty. Kitty stood on cat's push to mute.
Entirely probable. Yeah, so, you know, you're for me, I would say it's Cleave, and then it's Odin or Raiden, and then it's Doom, and then other things that can proc that effect in some manner are my order of preference for insta-kills in here.
It was definitely seeing a lot of the different sword techs and blitzers coming out on Brianna's screen. We're seeing plenty of air blades and the usual fire dance because the head component of tier 1 is weak to fire.
Also floats, unlike the other two parts. Once you get past the two arms, everything in this fight floats, which is why the sniper is so good for it.
Okay, so we've got Brianna making her way into tier 2, which is what quite a lot of us refer to as one of the, like, rum wreckers.
Yeah, tier 2 and tier 3 are usually the parts of Kefka that are going to kill you. You have to be pretty unlucky or not paying attention for tier 4 to kill you, and tier 1, it's usually not an issue. Like, if you've got very little physical defense, it can be a problem, but generally you're gonna be good.
Unless you kill the parts out of a specific
order. Unless you're not strategizing it. Such that you kill short arm last, because one of them will shockwave you 1 to 3 times, and the other one will quake you upon death.
There may or may not be footage of me in a competitive race killing the head last by complete accident and having 3 of my 4 characters wiped out.
Fun stuff. I've definitely wiped due to like offering based accidental out of sequence kills. Well, yeah, generally, like Final Kefka is the hardest part of this game to learn, just because there's so many different parts and they all have different strategies and blah 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 blah. But you know, most people, once they have decided, you know, I'm good enough with this that I'm fine being restreamed for these races. Even a funsies race like the community one, they generally know most of what's going on here. So it's mostly going to be tier 2, tier 3, or accidental stuff.
Ooh,
I think
in the meme chest could come in useful.
Not the last time I was restreamed, but I think the time before that, I killed everything on tier 2 and all of my party at once with an offering. It wasn't great. No, just my offering didn't go well, and so I got 10-hitted to death.
Ah.
Got 10-hitted to death, and... No, sorry. I got quartered, and then 10-hitted. Oh. That was what happened.
Looks like Bree might have to start... Oh.
Well, it's just a frozen Setzer. And the Doom Tusk went off against the frozen guy, which did not hit, so yeah, you're good. But you never want to have a dead me, because, you know, then Fraggle would have had to do the stream himself, and who knows how that would have gone.
Probably as well as this one has.
Yeah, I offer very
conversations with myself. So, little bits about, like, tier 2 because we're actually getting some good game time for it. It's 4 parts. You've got Magic, who's the dude at the very left side pointing. Weak to Mute, so if you've got Siren or Mute, cast it and makes them a non-issue. You've got Tools, which is the little machiney bit just to the right of the middle. That one casts all the annoying stuff like Diffuser.
It does Magitech stuff.
You can instant kill it.
Yep.
Then you've got Ronnie James Dio, the Holy Diver, also known as Hit, who sat on top of the Tiger Head.
It has been down too long in the Midnight Sea.
You can hit him with Stop, and all it does is punch you. And then you have Tiger, who is the most dangerous part of Tier 2.
You can see his stripes and you know he's mean.
If he casts Doom Tusk on you, you get zombies.
And he also uses that Freezy spell. Basically, if you're gonna have a really rough time in Tier 2, it's almost always Tiger. Like,
Yep.
you can have other bits do nasty things, but 10 hits you can prepare for, which is what Hit does when he dies. You can insta-kill the thing in the middle, you can mute the guy on the left.
Yeah,
And Magic has such a huge list of spells to pull from that he almost never actually in practice does anything dangerous.
one of his more annoying traits is casting Life Free on something just before you're about to kill it, because game knows when you're going to kill something.
Yep. Brianna here on to Tier 3.
So now,
Yakko on the cranes. Red Baron needs to push 2 switches and Sid's still on Tier 2.
oh, we got a nice little casting of Bamat there from Yakko. And oof, the cranes just threw out Flare Star.
Yeah, Flare Star is not usually a nice spell to be hit with. It is just level-based damage. I don't know what the calculation for it is, but it does tend to do a lot of damage if you're not absorbing fire in some manner. Here comes Pearl Wind for Brianna, which is, yeah, okay. Not a lot of extra health on Girl there, or I missed a fair chunk of damage, because that was only 9,600 damage, or 9,600 heal. And Pearlwind heals whatever amount of HP the thing casting it has. So that should be a dead girl there. Because that was another 9,000 something.
9690 heal.
And then it's just a matter of what Sleep has. Oh, no, the girl's still alive.
Yep. I mean, what I'd be doing in this situation is, yep, throw with Gao, definitely. Everyone else just hammering away. Like, if you've got non-elemental weapons, just do the physical attack.
Two condemned people, though, I'd be waiting for people to die. Girl is dead now, Shadow is dead, so time to start building back.
And here comes the Meteos.
Yeah, this is why you don't want to do a whole lot of damage to Sleep. At a certain point, he will start throwing Meteos at you, A, as an ability, and B, as a counter. So you want to be pretty sure about what you're doing, which is very hard in Normalize and Distort. In Normal, without that, he has 40k health and he starts doing it below 20k, I think. So
yeah,
you can kind of workshop that, but if he does start throwing Meteos at you, you can also just heal him up above his threshold to do it, and take that as a bit of time to... Ooh, Calmness takes down Realm, but Brianna is on to Tier 4.
Yep, and luckily the transition happened when it did, because the timer had just reached 0 on Jex on his screen. So, Jex, you got lucky there.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a go-go coming in for the Red Room, yep.
Yeah, and with Throw available, that's a pretty solid thing to have as your backup.
Yep, just trick your turn order slightly so you make sure that Baron goes before Go-Go, and then just dupe the throws.
Yeah, unfortunately, unlike Sid, Brianna not sitting on, a million attack stairs. There's the Fallen one. We know Cure 3 has been available for quite a while, so not too worried about that getting fixed.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't
didn't
think we've
see any
seen-
Mega
Oh, no, there
Elixir.
is a Mega Elixir. So, yeah. Everything's fine on that front. And a lot of breakables sitting around. Yeah. There's Thunder Rod, there's an Ice Shield.
I'd be taking
break
the
the
elemental
ice
shields
shields.
off. If one of my characters on tier 4 has got an elemental shield, that's coming off and that's getting broke.
Especially if you have Mimic.
Oh, definitely.
But when you just have an Ice Shield sitting in the inventory, I'm surprised it hasn't been used yet. Fire 3, that's not a particularly common thing for Kefka to do.
Oh,
and a Hyperdrive counter is a Dead Shadow. Interestingly, just sitting on Go-Go as an item user, apparently.
Mm.
And, yeah, it keeps going back to throw instead of breaking that Ice Shield.
Yeah, I mean, throw, it's great, but unless you've got plenty of things which are high battle power to throw, it's not that good, because throw works off the weapon's strength. So
throw is good, but skeins aren't particularly, is how I would put it.
Yeah, skeins are alright, but ideally...
Okay, maybe it was just waiting for the Beyond Chaos here. Just wanted to get as much damage out as quickly as possible, looking for other shields to break.
Just don't equip the stunner and throw it.
Why are you taking the Genji shield off? What are you doing?
Yeah, you can't break a Genji shield.
No, only the elemental one. But yeah, at this point you just...
I'm confused.
Throw out all the damage you can and whatever. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Yeah, just yeet the Illumina at it. You're not swinging it now.
Yeah, actually, we haven't seen a lot of physical attacks on anyone's screen basically the whole game.
Krakow. There we have it.
So Brianna is officially our winner with a time of 1:56.47 and then some other numbers. And we will shortly be having an interview after what is pretty much standard for everyone, the post-race bio break.
Yep. In days gone by when the Piranha's boss used to take about 90 seconds all the time, you'd be able to just quickly run the toilet while that fight was on.
100%. Now it's a minimum of like 15 or 30 seconds, so you can't count on that anymore. A lot of runners will still just use that as an excuse. Like, okay, I might lose another 15, 20 seconds, whatever. I also won't have to pee the whole race. Or you could just wear a diaper. Like a person who wears a diaper. So we do have two people on tier 1 now. The Red Baron and Yak. We've kind of had a two-tier race here. The top tier, or the upper tier, or the upper half of the screen. I don't... Makes me sound like I'm saying they're better. They're not. The people at the top of the screen kind of were in a race against each other towards the end. And it seems like the bottom people are also in a race against each other. So it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. They're both kind of... Ooh, Quake. Never good. Especially when it kills 2 people of your party, and then you have one tier 1, and that's a reset for the Baron. That's no good. And that's why you have to be careful what you do.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, basically for tier 1, like a lot of the enemies in the later part of the game, everything has a death counter. So you have the long arm, which on Yakko Wacko screen was hit first in that little sword tech. That's the one what throws 1 to 3 shockwaves out. The short arm, or like the right one, the one nearest to the party, is the one which does slip hit, which can inflict the sap status.
Which does stay with you between tiers, so I almost always remedy that immediately.
And the head is the one which casts Quake, which you will get around by not killing it last, or by Float, Cherub Down, Gaia Gear, Paladin Shields. General Quake blocking things.
Yep, and we are now joined by Brianna. GG's on the win.
Thank you very much.
So how do you feel that seed went for you overall?
It could have been worse.
Well, I mean, everything could have been worse. Your computer could have exploded.
Yeah, it could have been worse. I mean, Normalize Distort, I'm not a huge fan of, but all things considered, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it seems to be a fairly common sentiment in the Discord is that Normalize and Distort is not super popular, and I think it's mostly because people just want to know how things are going to work, and, you know, bosses they expect to be easy are suddenly difficult, or you know,
Yeah.
numbers they can count to are no longer reliable, etc.
And I don't know the numbers, like, off the top of my head or anything, but I know, like, generally what their power usually is.
Right.
So, when the tentacles went ham, I noped right out of Magitech 3.
Yeah, the tentacles didn't seem to be a particularly fun time, and I don't think that was even the boss slot, so you would have, according
it
to
was
Fraggle,
the,
had to fight another one right
it was
after
the
that.
second fixed encounter.
Well, we have a very important question from Ravlin here in chat. What did you think of the chroma key?
That was completely on accident.
It looked really neat when you were in Mobliz there. The sky was the ground was made out of stars.
That's actually amazing. I might play with that and actually start having fun with the chroma keys on stream then. When I run this.
Oh, it looks like we have a wipe there from Sid at the last minute. That's unfortunate.
Oh,
But yeah, I didn't actually write many questions down for you because it seemed like you didn't have that rough of a time going through it.
for
the only-
once.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that really caused us some questions here was at the very end where you were just kind of throwing skeins instead of breaking that ice shield, and we were like, come on, just break the shield, mimic the shield. But I'm
trying to
guessing you
hold
were
on
just
to
waiting
it.
for Beyond Chaos.
Yeah, I was waiting for Beyond Chaos before I started pumping everything out.
Yeah, because I think you had already gotten countered by a Havoc Wing there, so you must have been approaching deadly territory for random attacks.
That's when that's as soon as I saw that Havoc come out, I revived Shadow and then I slowed down because I knew Beyond Chaos was coming soon.
Yeah. So just playing it safe there, I guess.
Yeah, making sure I didn't get hit by an Ultima counter. Because I had no calmness protection. The only reviving I had was Phoenix Downs.
Yeah, I think one person found life 1, but the only quote unquote calmness protection I think that we found is Phantom, which is really, really, really hard to pull off with Normalize and Distort, and Palador, which is also really hard to pull off with NND.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt, unless people just happen to block it, I don't think we're going to see anybody getting calmness. But yeah, overall that seemed to go pretty well for you. How did you feel about having 1,000,000 slots?
So many slots. Oh my god.
Yeah, are you like super familiar with slots? Do you know like the basic rhythm for 7 flush, or what's your skill level there?
I can get it right about 70-75% of the time for slots in Chocobop.
Yeah, for the 7 flush Chocobop basic thing. I think that's where most people in the community are in terms of skill there. Like, definitely no one today was using pause buffering or anything. We didn't see any Drew-style reverse Joker Doom shenanigans. So it seemed like most people were just going for that basic rhythm of the here's 7 flush.
Yeah. And I tried to use it as little as possible because I'm not thoroughly confident in my ability to hit 7 flush regularly.
Fair. Yeah. But you know, at the start of the game, that can be quite useful if you can do it reasonably reliably, and it seems like it helped several of the racers today get through that first hump. But yeah, I mean, I would ask Fraggle if he had any questions for you, but he keeps disconnecting and reconnecting every 3 seconds. So I don't really have any other questions for you. So I guess just unless you have something else to say on your end.
Yes, I do. Boo Jack.
Well, obviously. I mean, he used to run Enron, so he deserves all the boo. Well, yeah, just GG's on your win again there, and, you know, we'll see you the next time, I guess.
Thanks. It's always fun. Saturday is my favorite day of the week.
Awesome.
All right, night. Good luck to all of the remaining runners.
Well, they're all in Final Kefka here, so it's up in the air who's going to come second after you. So.
Nice.
GG's again. It was pretty close.
Thank you very much. Bye.
All right, have a good. So we do have Yakko on tier 3. The Red Baron here on tier 2. Sid just moving up to tier 2. And yeah, so it's really kind of up in the air. Sid obviously had some problems there, required a wipe and a reset. It could happen to anybody. As mentioned in that conversation with Brianna, there isn't really any calmness protection, so if things go poorly, you could have a rough tier 4 for anybody here. But yeah, it's this is one of those things with this randomizer that I like, is you can have people at the very end of the game and still not know who's actually going to win a lot of the time. We have maybe a Fraggle back in the booth. Maybe not. Because that's happened like 20 times in the last 5 minutes. We are getting some sword tech action here out of Yakko Wacko. I think the only other person we've really seen make use of sword tech was Brianna, who was using Stunner a fair amount. A muddle coming out on Sid, but thankfully missing. That can ruin your day. Anytime, you know, past like a third of the way through the game, if you get muddled or zombied, you generally have the ability to kill at least one person in your party in 1 minute. And often, everyone in your party in 1 minute. So that's never going to be fun. Luckily, it missed. Yakko pulling out the Phoenix here to get Gao back on his feet. Seems to be having a bit of difficulty with this here tier 3. Luckily, tier 3 is available. Red Baron moving on to tier 3. Getting through tier 2, surpassing Sid, although I guess he was technically ahead of Sid already. Sid, as we know, did take that wipe there, unfortunately. Was in solid contention for second place at that point, but now not so much. We do have Yakko way ahead, well into tier 3, and the Baron just starting it up. So both of them ahead of Sid, but, you know, anything can happen. Looks like Locke is not doing a terribly large amount of damage with this Illumina in terms of physicals, but then that... Ooh, he found Golem somewhere. Missed that. But then that Pearl proc did a full 95k, and now he is on to tier 4. So, solid chance Yakko taking second place here on the stream. So, we'll see.
Golem was in the South Figaro cave, according to the tracker sheet.
We
And
have Michael,
Huzzah! I am back.
you have officially beaten the 4 tiers of Discord. And
Well,
now
only
talk
3
again.
tiers because I can't actually watch the Discord feeds of the restream, which you currently have. I currently have the Twitch feed.
I will be a couple seconds ahead of you then, and therefore am actually the final boss of Discord. A couple Ragnarok throws there for a solid 10-ish K from Yakko.
Yeah.
As you were mentioning earlier, Brianna could have taken those weapons off. They weren't doing any particular good. They do provide, obviously, some evasion and stuff, but if you can do 5K and then mimic it, essentially for free, then why not?
Yeah, I mean, no matter how much evasion you have stacked on your characters, Havoc Wing is always going to end up wiping your character out. So you might as well just break his shield and throw the good sword.
Yeah, there's a 6,800 damage on a hyperdrive from Realm. Looks like Yakko maybe not 100% paying attention to how much damage he is putting out here. A couple of counters it seemed like, or at least one counter. And that is the real danger here. You know, if you're not paying attention to the numbers on Kafka, which is, as we've mentioned before, increasingly and especially difficult with normalize and distort, you can be having a real rough time. Because, you know, if it's unscaled Kafka, we know how much damage it takes to get to each of the breakpoints where he starts countering with various things. Ooh, almost a party wipe there. And his Phoenix user is gone. And a Havoc Wing to the face. That is a wipe for Yakko on tier 4.
Oh.
That is why you don't queue up attacks. Once you've already gotten one out during the goner phase, that can be just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, if you're counting damage and you know what the health thresholds are going to be, then by all means queue your attacks, but oof, that was
Yeah.
rough.
That's and again, with Normalize and Distort, it's a lot harder unless you have Scan and you're assiduously using it, which honestly, if I did have Scan and I got to Final Kafka in Normalize and Distort, I would 100% take a turn to just scan them.
No lie, when we've had the occasional seed where Scan has been given to all characters by default, I have actually used it on tier 3 to effectively pull off the Golem Calmness evade, because, you know, I knew I have this attack which will take that much damage and that attack, so that'll proc that counter, which means Golem and then survive.
Do you mean Phantom?
Yeah,
The
that
Golem,
one as well.
Golem I just put up as soon as that tier starts.
Yeah, Golem Phantom, something invisible, something damage dodge.
Oh, we do have a Baron on tier 4 here. And a Dead Cyan. But some tier 3s coming out. Again, the game was pretty... I think really the only spell they don't have that they could really usefully use is Life 2.
Yeah, that's the one thing I have noticed across the seed. There hasn't been much reviving outside of the occasional Phoenix uses.
Yeah, we have seen Phoenix. Ooh, an Ultima counter. Yeah, the fact that people are getting countered so much by these nasty, nasty things shows you how much of a difference Normalize and Distort makes. Although the Red Baron is fairly new to the Discord, so maybe he's not 100% aware of the breakpoints for this. Learning Final Kafka is one of the bigger hurdles for newer racers.
Yeah, Goner is terrifying in itself sometimes if it comes off, but when Final Kafka normally gets to the below 10,000 health points, you will see the Ultima counter, and when it hits, Oh, it hits.
Yep. Ultima is the most powerful spell in the game and ignores magic defense, so it's real hard to not die to that. Unless you have a stupid amount of health.
Yep.
Sid, therefore, is now in the lead because every single person on the restream, aside from Brianna, has died to Kafka. And I can't bring this up enough. It's so much harder to beat this boss when you don't know the specific numbers. Like, you just have to be a lot more careful, and it seems like a lot of the runners are just approaching it as they would a normal seed. And just going, here's all the damage, and we'll wait for Goner, and you're usually fine to get 5 or 6 attacks out, and then wait for Goner. But in the case of the Baron there, I don't think we even got to Goner. He just got Ultima countered.
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, that shows that Baron was really putting out the damage and, you know, was pretty much there for the kill.
Oh yeah, he threw a Ragnarok or an Ultima for 10k, like as his first move.
Yeah, that's also the danger of normalizing Distort, because unless it's on certain bosses like the Ultras... what is the plural of Ultros?
Ultros is.
Yeah. Unless it's on the tentacle monsters, or the likes of Gale or Leader, you don't really notice the increased health as such. It's only once you get into something like the final Kefka fight where it becomes such a big issue.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's not going to make a hugely noticeable difference. For the most part, most bosses are kind of unaffected, and the ones that are affected are the ones that you used to think were a complete waste of time, but now suddenly actually present some kind of issue. But then when you get to this, it actually becomes a problem. Like, there's a few things like the Guardian with Normalize and Distort can just have the most health ever and take forever.
Yeah, and Chadnock can be another nasty
can just
one.
take goddamn forever. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a smack of Ultros, because that is the proper term of venery for jellyfish. I don't know what it is for octopodes. Also, point of interest, terms of venery, i.e. the proper plural word for a group of animals, is a completely upper-class waste of time thing from Britain, where a bunch of, you know, lords and ladies were like, well, we have all this time to spend on hunting and stuff. Let's make up words so that we can tell who doesn't have all this time and isn't upper class as hell.
I would apologise for my country, but
you're from Liverpool.
yeah, we generally hate the rest of our country anyway.
Good on you. Wait, I didn't do that in an Australian accent. I apologize. Trains coming out for Sid. Not something you want to see when half your party's on the ground.
Oh.
And a Havoc Wing to follow, but Cyan apparently has a ton of defense.
Yeah, there were some
I would
snow
not be
mufflers for
throwing
sale.
stuff at this point, because that's a hyperdrive counter for 6,000. Things are not going well for Sid. And another Havoc Wing, just all the Havoc Wings in the world. Cyan with like 6 times as much defense as Realm, apparently. And an ultimate counter, because he keeps attacking Kefka. Oh, no good. He is annihilated. Baron on tier 1, Yakko on tier 2, and it looks like we do have a forfeit from Sid.
To be honest, I don't blame him. It's Normalize and Distort is a tricky beast. You have to have perseverance. Usually I would just forfeit myself if I took a wipe past tier 2. But then
Yeah,
again,
I mean, especially on your second try. A lot of people will not go for a third try, but we are joined now by Sid. GG's and commiserations on the nastiness of Kefka there.
Right? Like, I was counting and everything, and I'm like, oh, well. I
Oh,
didn't
you
know
were
it was
counting.
Normalized and distort.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the part. It didn't take normalize and distort into account there.
I thought,
It makes it a lot
surely-
harder if you don't have scan or something.
Yeah, no, I had scan. Scan doesn't work.
Oh, I think Fraggle said that earlier when I brought
It
it up.
works on tier 3 on
Okay.
sleep, but it doesn't work on the big flying wing clan.
That's the first thing I
Unfortunate.
did on the second try.
Yeah, you and Brianna were kind of neck and neck there for a bit. Brianna, interestingly, the only person on the restream who didn't take a wipe to Kefka. So,
Must be nice.
exactly. If you had started again, you might have very well gotten second place. But I'm not going to hold it against you doing 2 tries against Kefka and then forfeiting, because it's a slog at that point.
Yeah, I mean, no, Kefka normally, when it's not playing nice, can be rough, but when you throw in normalize and distort,
Yeah, it throws off all your counting and a lot of the strategy you can employ for tiers 3 and 4 especially. But outside of that, what did you think of the scene?
I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, so did you see the soft lock I had earlier?
Yes, I have that written down. That is a soft lock. I have myself. I have some data on that. It wasn't always necessarily going to be a soft lock. It can soft lock there, but sometimes you can just walk back in. So you got more unlucky than you might have. But yeah, especially with the not having saved before Imperial Camp, that sucks.
Oh, yeah. So that was, I don't know, maybe like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I've definitely done that myself, but I got lucky. And when I brought this up in the Discord, Franklin just didn't believe me that I didn't get soft locked. But yeah, sometimes for some reason you can just walk back out.
just to interrupt a second, Red Baron is having a really rough time down on tier 2. We've got a Doom Tusked Cyan and a Spinny Implock and a Spinny Poison Gao.
Yeah, it's not going well. I have a couple questions written down for you here, Sid.
Yeah.
First one is, rather unusually, when you were going through the Phoenix Cave, you actually took the time to put all the spikes down. Is that a thing you normally do?
I was kind of, like, I think I had Cure, but not Cure 2 learned on anybody yet.
Ah.
And I had one sleeping bag, because I just used my 110.
Okay, yeah, I can see that then. At that point, we were looking at most people as they had Cure 3 or whatever, so it's a bit confusing, but yeah, if you've got no heals, that's a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, understandable.
One thing I did want to compliment you on is your use of Reflect in the Poltergeist fight.
I didn't know I had learned it. So I was like, come on, please be there.
Yeah, it's not a spell you usually are looking for, so I can see how you would have overlooked having learned it. But yeah, that was awesome, especially since Poltergeist was being an absolute douche knocker to Go-Go, as bosses usually are when you try to revive someone.
Yeah, he's only targeting Go-Go. It was weird.
I mean, that's what bosses do. They wait for
Yeah.
something to die, and for you to revive them, and then they kill them again.
Yeah, the infamous Phoenix Down or Life Loop. Only really having maybe Phoenix or Life 2 can safely get you out of that a bit.
Or Quick, if you use that as a Healy thing.
Yeah. Didn't see any quick around.
Yeah,
No.
No calmness protection.
One person, I think, found Golem, Yakko Wacko. I don't think anyone else did. Brianna just ate the calmness. Phantom and Palador were available, but with Normalize and Distort, that's a huge question mark
Ooh.
whether you're gonna pull that off.
Baron's got 2 zombies.
Oh, unfortunate. Kafka's being real nasty to everyone today, and that's a zombie Gao. That is a wipe for the Baron, and apparently a forfeit. so we'll ask him for an interview in a minute. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of just. I feel bad for you, man.
I don't think he has a mic. We've been racing off and on this week, but he might.
We will see. Yeah, those are the main questions I had written down for you. I had the soft lock, I had the spikes and the phoenix, and the reflect thing. How did you feel about all the slots? What's your skill level there? How comfortable are you?
Like 30% accurate, so I can kind of reliably do H-bomb if I'm going for it, but most of the time I'm going just for the
Ooh.
diamond.
You can reliably do H-bomb? That's more skilled than most people there. The only times I ever see it when I'm playing it, or if I happen to luck out when doing 7 flush and it pulls it instead.
Yeah, H-bomb was a rare one.
8 tries for H-bomb on this seed.
Okay, not bad, not bad. So yeah, I guess, and you know that like the basic rhythm for 7 flush as well, because I didn't see anyone doing a pause buffer.
I just know if I get the first diamond, the second and third diamond are free on 7 flush.
Yes, I have heard that you can just hold A after that, but it never seems to work for me. So,
I mean, I think doesn't matter at all. The RNG locks in. If you've got the first diamond, you can just press A whenever, and it'll give you the second and third one.
I mean, the slots are generally rigged in your 7 flush and Chocobop are kind of in the same boat for me, where I know there's like a det pattern you can do to reliably get both of them, like interchangeably. So that's what I do. I've never found the hold A after getting a thing to be effective for me for whatever reason. Slots are weird. Sometimes they derig.
Slots are weird. Did anyone else go for experience eggs? Just curious.
I think you're the only one I saw wearing one. And at one point I saw you going back to Nourish, and I went, oh, he's going back for experience eggs. But then it turned out you already had 2.
Brianna had an experience egg as well, which she was passing about during KT, killing people off on the climb to funnel the experience onto characters.
Alright, I had forgotten Split XP was on.
Yeah, so I knew the XP was kind of wonky with the scaling where it's like highest party.
Yeah.
For progress. So I wasn't sure if experience eggs were the right call, but I knew like if I got to 40 by the time KT was around, I'd probably be fine.
Yeah, if you're kind of passing it around judiciously, you'll be, at reasonably similar levels. And either way, once you get to KT, you can split your party up into like even-ish leveled people. So, yeah.
I lucked out on those stars.
Oh yeah.
Those stars? I was searching hard for those. I was just
you spent like 70k on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Used
some
almost all
good
of them.
use of the tax. Gotta love those 6 or 7k hits.
Yeah, especially when you got a mimic to do it again for free.
Yep. That was the idea until Kefka's like, hey, Ultimate.
Yeah, here you go. I hear you like them.
More health than everybody.
Yeah, Kefka has been doing consistently ridiculous damage to everybody in this race.
And it's mostly been tier 2 or tier 4 who've been the wipers.
Yeah, didn't
This
really
time
see.
around. Tier 3 was it was a bit of a slog, but people managed to get through it consistently when they hit it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, calmness can be an issue. But, did you have any other questions for Sid there, Fraggle?
Main one would be, how did you find the flags as a whole? I mean, like, was it something you hope never turns out again? Is it something where you want to find out whose fault it is for these flags coming so you can hate them?
No, I mean, I kind of liked 777. I thought I was going on a pretty decent pace.
Oh, you were. Believe me,
It's just-
compared to the rest of us who ran the first incarnation of this, you and Brianna, the pace you're on, you would have easily finished top 2.
Yeah, it's just those ultimates and that soft lock. Other than that, I thought I was doing okay, like doing the checks proper and getting the stuff I needed to get.
Yeah, outside of that soft lock and Kefta being a douche knocker at the end, I couldn't really fault you on anything you did. But yeah, you got any final thoughts here? It looks like we're about to have a fourth person finish, and we got the Baron waiting for an interview. So
No, just GG's everyone. That was the race.
All
For
right.
sure.
Well,
GG's.
good attempt. Sorry about how it turned out at the end there, but good attempt.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in the next one. And we do have a Red Baron here.
How you doing?
Doing all right yourself?
Oh, it would have been better if I'd actually beat Kefka there, but from everything I'm hearing, man, he wasn't just destroying me, he was destroying everybody.
Yeah, the only person he didn't kill was Brianna. So, a good attempt there, but he was kind of screwing with everyone. So, don't fault you on the forfeit at that point.
The ultimate counter really got me because I thought I was like within a couple of thousand HP of actually killing him. And then the second attempt, like you were saying, the second tier, just zombie after zombie after zombie. I couldn't recover. It was just crazy.
Yeah, tier 2 is often a run killer. But, one thing I did want to note, just for your own knowledge going forward, you are one of 2 people on the stream that actually bought the Rust Raid in Mount Zozo. If Wairu moves on, you can just break that door.
I thought about that the second I bought it. I just did it out of habit. I was like, I don't really need this.
Yeah, sometimes you just forget that setting's on, or some of the particulars about what it can do.
Yeah, this is the second Y NPC removed game I've done today, and that muscle memory will just stick with you.
Yeah.
But all in all, I found this to be a really enjoyable seed. I really like Dragon Dance in particular. I've never been a fan of the normalize and distort, but it wasn't too bad until Kefka. I think the only problem I had was the other Kefka fight. I think I found him at the statues, at the 3 statues realm fight, and he just took forever to kill. Just bolt 3, bolt 3, bolt 3.
Yeah, normalize and distort has a really big effect on a few bosses, but mostly not so much until you get to the end, and then it really screws with your strategy for the final Kefka fights.
It really just seems to be like it affects the weaker bosses, the early game bosses, and then all of a sudden it gives final Kefka a big boost.
Yeah, for some of the parts certainly. I think it actually weakens final Kefka's health pool a bit, which screws with people's counting. So you see a lot more counters than you normally would.
Yeah, it's normalised and distorts mainly there to really buff the early game freebie bosses. Like Leader was the prime example where we seen him take quite a few bolt 3s and dish out some damage before he finally went down.
Yeah, Dataluma also.
Yeah, Dataluma had a pretty high HP pool.
Yeah.
The thing that I think I enjoyed most in this was the spicy chicken, though, because I couldn't keep Go-Go alive, and it was basically one-on-one. Who could do better, Gao or spicy chicken?
Well, when you got throw, you got a big advantage in that. So as long as he's not stopping you to try to blaster you, you're probably.
I had a feeling that the other runners might have had a little bit of trouble there. It was just not exactly where you expect to see him is his vanilla spot, and he hurts. But that was a fun fight.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the nastier bosses.
My hands up, I'm like wacky over here for a second, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready.
Well, I mean, you got through that, you got to Kefka, and like almost everyone, he was just mean. So, certainly a good effort on your part. Just normalize and distort kind of apparently screwed with everyone in that last fight. So it was really up in the air who was actually going to win.
So who did win? Was it Jebrox or Brianna?
Jex won off stream, Brianna won on stream.
Okay.
And then
And Yakko-
technically, Yakko gets second place on stream because he actually finished his second Kefka fight. But yeah, 2 forfeits on stream.
Yeah, that's rough. You know it's hard when that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Like
gonna
I
go
say-
ahead and get out of here. I just want to, say congratulations to the other runners. I'm not at all surprised to see Jack Sprock actually win this. He runs seeds like this all the time, dumpster fire seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks for the run. Thanks for the opportunity to be here, and it was fun. Thank you, guys.
All right,
No
thanks for
problem, Sid.
participating. Good try, and we'll see you the next time. And we have our final interview of the night. Yakko Wacko, who is here with us in the booth. Hello.
Hello, hello.
So, Yakko, do you regret joining the seed going, oh, might as well play tonight?
Oh, I don't. I have no idea what I got myself into. Okay, for those of you tuning in, I'm sure you've explained this already a multitude of times. So, what the heck happened here on these seeds, on these flags?
Basically, the main issue is going to be normalize and distort was on. And
Norm-
everybody wiped to Final Kefka at least once, except for Brianna.
Oh my gosh, yeah, because I looked at this, I was like, wait a minute, isn't this supposed to be unscaled final battle? What's going on here?
Yeah, normalize and distort does still screw with Final Kefka, even if it's unscaled. It's like a balancing mechanism. I don't know exactly how it affects Final Kefka, but it raises girls' HP pool quite a bit usually, and it seems to lower Final Kefka's HP a bit, so counting on those can be an issue. So we saw way more Kefka counters than we normally would.
Yeah, that was like, okay, did he have haste on? And apparently he was overloading on the Pat Monahan special on me. And
Yeah, it wasn't a nice Final Kefka for anyone. So, GG's on actually finishing because we did have 2 forfeits on stream here.
oh my God, I saw like in the chat, like all of a sudden, boom, boom. I was like, okay, I guess it's up to me. I think when the second person forfeited, I think I was going into the final battle.
Yeah, at one point, all 3 of you were like on tier 2, tier 3 together because of the way the wipes have fell. It was tier 2 and Final Kefka itself were the ones what caused the most issues for the runners tonight.
Tier 2 wasn't terrible. I've had better tier 2s, but I've had much worse tier 2s. I think for me it was definitely tier 4, and tier 3 was like, wait a minute, wasn't she supposed to go down at this point?
Yep, normalize and distort.
Yeah, she can have up to 27k health.
Oh my gosh. But fortunately, one thing I realized, although at the last minute, was that we could reuse the espers. So on my second fight, I kind of took that to my advantage.
Yeah, the way parts of the flag set like designed to help offset some of the little bits, but the normalize and distort, apart from like we've said, with it screwing with the way the health goes, it just sometimes it rolls slightly lower health. Other times the health can be through the roof on all parts. It just depends.
It's a weird setting. And I think it hasn't really received a huge balance pass since basically no one uses it, so I'm not sure it's high on Atma's list of things to work on.
I can see why.
Yeah, it's more common if you run races with Jax or Seeds of the Week. It'll show up. It's more of like a challenge mode flag as
I like
opposed
the
to common.
idea of it. I like the idea of it, but the execution in certain parts has just never been fixed. And sometimes when I'm like, okay, this bit of balance is clearly off, people argue, and the conversation goes nowhere, and nothing gets changed. So yeah, I think we'll just mostly see that flag not being used for a fair while.
Unless this is the seed that makes something happen. That's happened.
Maybe.
I've seen it happen in other games. I won't go into details, but I'll just say usually it takes one bad seed to make something happen.
Oh, we've seen more than one bad seed with normalize and distort.
Oh yeah, and we've seen plenty without normalize and distort.
100%. One thing I did want to bring up there, Yakko, are you aware you can just bust into Mount Zozo, the Y remove? Because I did notice you bought the Rust rig.
To be honest, I am still noobing, so I kind of did not understand that.
Yeah, Y remove is something you need to basically. There isn't even really a list you can look up, so far as I know. Someone should make one, but yeah, people have tried removing basically everything in the game. So you can technically, if you Ctrl F in the Discord, find things. But yeah, that's one of the main ones. The two main ones I would say are you can get the Cursed Shield early, and you can do Mount Zozo.
Okay, so it sounds like we're making a checklist of things that need to be done in the beginners lounge over there.
Yeah, well, Y remove was never really meant to be like a commonly used flag. It was put in for an April Fool's seed one day, and you know it clearly has warnings in the flag list.
Yep.
It just says use this at your discretion.
It was one of those April Fool's jokes that just kept on rolling.
Yeah, well, people love being able to kill villagers. They're so in the way.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got Y remove on and you go into Nicaea, ooh,
Yeah, that one kid that runs back and forth real fast, he can die.
And that guy that's blocking the weapon vendor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, just kill them all.
it's a fun flag. It has its uses, but believe me, at least with Y remove on, it made this seed go a lot faster than what its historical counterpart flag set did.
Yeah, it does give you access to 2 dragons that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. You can also go into Figaro World of Ruin with it by killing Siegfried.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't even, since I never found Edgar, I didn't even bother going to that one. Yeah, a lot of stuff I still don't know.
Well, Y remove is a fairly esoteric thing to learn. So unless you were like in the draft tournament, where it's an option for some reason, as like one of the things you can draft, a lot of people still don't know how it works. The exigencies of actually going through a seed with it.
Okay, I think I missed that one.
Yeah, for example, we did see Sid today. He went into the Imperial camp, Y removed Kefka, and soft locked himself and lost 10 minutes.
Derp.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just a thing you have to look up or try everything in the game yourself. So I'm gonna write down that we should just make a list of what that does. But yeah, how do you feel about slots? Because there were a lot of slots.
Yeah, I stopped going to the casino a while ago. I'm like, what? I was trying to figure out how to get rid of either Kassayan was practically useless. Go-Go, I was trying to figure out how to get him out of there, but everyone was just as useful.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot. I mean, it depended on what side of the screen we were looking at, on whose particular run it was. But even when people were at the end, there were still slots users in their parties.
Oh my gosh, I think I had like 4 slots users, and so I didn't have a choice but to take them with me.
Yeah, if you looked at the list of abilities that were being handed out, it was like 70% slots. So it's always gonna happen.
Now my question is, how many people put slots on Go-Go?
I don't think anybody. I think probably if it was me, I would have said, well, I already have someone with slots. I can just mimic it.
There you go. Yeah, I think like I was just glad I actually put the right team in Team 3, and I was able to just spam the what's that, number 6 on the sword tech.
Stunner.
Stunner.
Yeah. When you got Realm with Sword Tech and an early Magic +2 Esper, that's a pretty solid strategy to go for.
Yeah, pretty much it was just to make sure he just didn't do anything.
Perfectly executed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Oh my god.
I am out of questions here. Fraggle, you got anything else?
No, it was, like you say, it was a rough one, but congratulations for getting through it.
Thank you.
Yeah, officially second place on the restream.
Hooray!
Hey, that's a new personal best for me.
Yeah,
Double
GG's.
hooray! GG.
But yeah, you got any final thoughts there, Yakko?
I think maybe I'll go to the slots.
I mean, you clearly had so much luck today.
Oh yeah, clearly.
100%. But yeah, thanks for playing. GG's on the finish, and we'll see you maybe the next one.
All right, thanks for having me.
All right, you have a
Sweet.
good one. And yeah, just a bit of final admin here before I throw over a raid to someone playing the game. Go follow our runners. Fred Barron, Brianna Fofana, Yakko Wacko, and Shadow Sid. Thanks to all of them for running it. Thanks to Ceiling Cat for tracking this mess. Thanks to Seto for restreaming said mess. Thanks to Fraggle for making it messier. And thanks to me for being amazing.
Thank you.
So yeah, go give our runners a follow. Come join the Discord. Play the game. Blah blah blah.
Praise
Got any-
Atma. Thank Atma
And-
for creating this.
Yes, 100%.
And I guess we should thank Mildane for originally coming up with this flag set.
Was it Mildane?
Yep, it was Mildane.
All right. Well, thanks to Mildane for ruining everyone's day twice. And yeah, we're just gonna raid over to WR Jones 104, who is currently in a race of this game, and we will see you all next week.